Hello, friends. Welcome to Roll to Quest, where we are always late and give you authentic live D&D.
Professionals.
It's great. We had a couple things we had to take care of. Apologies for that. With that, the only thing that I'm going to mention real quick is, again, we will not be playing next week. We have obligation. Commitments. We have commitments, so we will not be playing next week. But we will be there. We will be again back the week after that.
I think they have commitments.
With that being the case, we can just jump back into the session, where we had left off last time. As you guys continued to venture through the crystal veins, you guys found yourself entering into what appeared to be a muddied cave-like network, almost like an ant colony, for how these tunnels were actually dug out and seemed to be formed. The ground seemed off, almost tilled in weird ways, and as you started to progress, you quickly discovered that it seemed to be alive, where the ground had been tilled. While it seemed that no real hostile action, or at least as of yet, has come from this off-tilted ground, you found stone statues throughout this cave network that had riddles written on the walls near them. Seems that as you actually solved those riddles, the statues seemed to effectively vacate the tunnel, making way for you to continue to proceed. But anytime a mistake was made, they seemed to almost come to life. In a sense, almost a slew of mini combats arose. You guys continued to progress through the cave before realizing that a very upset man in stone is somehow slowly turning this muddied hall or this muddied cave into stone. As far as you guys know, your assumption is hunting Razu for what he had done to the lady in stone that you had found. But as he continues to hunt you through the caves and you progressed through, we had ended off with Gurgle being at the front of the group. He had just gone past another, we'll call it abomination, that had a little bit more room to pass through without potentially interacting with any kind of a riddle. He did see the riddle, but then elected to, instead of trying to answer it, to move through. And this creature, proffering many different arms, reached out and promptly grabbed Gurgle. We had left off with him.
I did guess once.
I actually think you're right. I do
That's
think you
why
guessed.
it grabbed him.
Apologies, you are correct. You did guess. But it had, in response to the wrong guess, it had reached out, it grabbed Gurgle, and again, combat has been initiated as the statue starts to crack. I did not write down the initiative order.
I'm the one who's not faster than the bad guys.
That works. Apparently he remembers. So
Of course I remember.
you're the only one who's not
John.
faster.
We appreciate
So with
it.
that, as the creature has reached out and made its attack on Gurgle, effectively would actually just be going
don't
right into
remember.
combat. We can keep the same initiative. He is 100% right. That is what it is. 5 of you. What do you want to do? Again, you guys, this is accurate. I made sure to actually get this.
Of the thingy thing. The words.
It's
The riddle?
The answer is smoke signals.
It is most likely smoke signals, but what it is, I speak with no voice, I hear with no ears, I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?
I will put it in chat one more time as well.
That is, it's like almost assuredly smoke signals. I've thought about this over the entire week.
Wait, this bro had a hyperbolic time chamber to figure out a riddle?
Oh no,
We've solved this at the end of last
Yeah, I
session.
figured it out.
I just
say it.
confirmed it over the week.
Well,
Okay.
I wouldn't know that, so I'm gonna say that Gurgle doesn't know that, and he's gonna just attack.
Okay, so go ahead and make your attack, Gurgle.
I can't cheat and say that I figured this out over the week, because I didn't even remember what the freaking riddle was. 21.
21 definitely hits.
Oh, actually, I gotta do this twice. I forgot I have 2 attacks now. 27.
Imagine having 2 attacks.
27
I
is
know.
gonna hit as well.
It's a miracle. Level 14, I finally get my second attack.
Wild. It's almost like there's downsides to multi-class. Hope the upsides outweigh it.
He's a neutral game character anyway. He's not designed for combat. Somebody else can go while I calculate damage.
Not me.
Are you not going to move?
Probably
Smoke
He's
signals.
grappled. He can't move.
not. I'm not grappled. He missed
Oh,
his
I thought-
attack.
I should have double checked. Let me look at this
Oh, he
ring.
did succeed the grapple.
It'd be
My
so
whole
hard for him to
concentration.
succeed a
I
grapple on me.
use a maneuver dice to do the charging.
I have
move.
advantage on grapple checks and I have
Yeah,
plus 10.
I'm already talking.
I don't remember him actually
Yeah, he was
grappling
moving
me,
his character
which
on the
means I don't
map,
think he
but-
grappled me.
You wanna go?
This is one problem with doing this way.
It is.
Sure.
You effectively you speak up to what you're doing.
Go ahead.
You can just say it loud.
Can't
I'm going
see.
next. Just to make it simple. Go next, Treeth.
Dibs.
Well, I'm waiting till the response here.
I don't think
And-
anyone heard.
It's
what you were
technically no. He said
Yes.
smoke signals.
saying. Oh.
I feel like that should work.
I was like, I literally couldn't think of any other answer.
It's not the answer, but
What? What's the
Our chat god got it last week. I remember
Jasmine was the only one who got it. She got it
yeah.
first try.
Is it cackling?
No,
I'm
she's
gonna go
cackling
ahead
because she got it.
And cast heroism on Tiku.
Not
Just
your turn.
one second.
It's
So
not my turn.
It's not your
figuring.
turn.
I'm just
that. Hiram's trying to figure out if he got the right answer.
Smoke signals. It works. It just does.
38 damage. But I assume it breaks as I hit it.
Funnily enough, as you take your whip out, this is going to be a very short one. As Gurgle takes his whip out, I should have made you guys solve the riddle last week. And you hit it. You would effectively have the impression that you are. It was a lot weaker than you thought as you hit one of those sets of 8 arms that have effectively wrapped around it, and almost like before the stone even finishes breaking, you do hear Zephyr call out smoke signals, and the creature, almost seemingly in response to it, cracks and crumbles to smoke.
There was just a moment where I was like muttering the riddle. Smoke
Well,
signals.
is
I
it-
just yelled smoke signals out.
Is it just smoke? Was the answer just smoke? Or was it actually smoke signals?
With smoke signals for the voice.
There's
I speak
no
without
way
a
it would
voice.
be smoke.
Yeah,
you
it
can
can't
and
be
you can
just smoke
you can
without the
you
voice.
can interpret it without ears, quickly
Oh.
hearing it.
Skywrite?
It was similar to sign language.
Skywrite could also work in theory, right? No, because it doesn't
No.
require the wind.
Yeah, it does not require wind.
Because smoke has to rise.
And wind might actually.
Okay, I have to
erase
know
the
what was
message.
the actual answer.
How the
By
fuck?
definition, it probably does. I think the
you
spell
say?
actually says it does.
That's okay. I tell you the answer on break.
I suppose
bro.
we still have a problem behind
How
us.
the
Let's
fuck
move.
a smoke signal be hearing you?
You
Interpret what the smoke
Interpret.
signal is saying.
So
I speak without a voice and hear without ears, which means it hears. I don't know about you, but I looked at smoke and it don't got ears. Only trees.
What creates
But-
smoke? A crackling fire.
But Razu, it says it hears without ears. So smoke doesn't have ears.
So everything can hear.
Well, according to that riddle.
then what's
smoke
the
does.
answer, Razu?
I'm not saying I know, I'm just saying I don't know about that.
Second smartest guy on the party!
How's about you just take it up with whatever Sphinx came up with that riddle?
Do you think
Or-
there's a sphinx in here?
Well, I'm just saying, Sphinx are the only thing I know that does riddles.
Suppose it's possible. Is
That
the
are little
Sphinx one of the
gremlin men that want your first
And here we go.
when he says Sphinx, does memory of Squawk get scared?
You know what? We never actually. Something we never actually considered. What happens if he's just trying to make our path less muddy? He's not coming to kill us.
The look on his face is one of pure hatred.
I mean, Razu.
He hasn't seen me yet.
So
What are
we
you
really
talking
don't have
about?
to outrun the Stone Man, we just have to outrun Razu.
I don't think he's...
you're keeping your manifest mind is still up
Yes.
at the back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He's just.
Okay, so you would see that he's continuing to follow, and then Gurgle, you being at the front, the cave actually opens up, not into a larger cavern this time though, as the muddy ground gives way again to stone, but only for about 10 feet, as it opens up into an area where you can see what appears to be almost twilight of light. The sun is lower in the sky as you come out, your eyes almost kind of adjusting to what is a brighter, although it be it still dim light.
First thing I check is it one of those vision zones where it's like I walk through a zone, and then it all of a sudden looks like I'm outside again.
As you before actually getting to the cave entrance, kind of look, there does seem to almost be almost like a filament that almost ends this this particular hallway or this particular pathway, I would say. Outside that, you can see what appears to be they're trees with like almost like thicker bases that have dozens of branches that dig into the ground, kind of almost a bushy like top to it. Large white cobblestone rocks, like being like 5, even upwards of like 8 feet in like width and height. As effectively this cave, it almost looks like you're coming out of a cave network or a cave entrance at the like of a base of a mountain and almost entering into a savanna-like. I'd say it's almost like savanna light area. It's a little bit more dense with foliage. You see vines, bushes, again with larger trees, more than you'd normally see in a savanna. A larger, almost not quite a watering hole, almost more of like a pond that kind of goes into almost like ventures into a bit of a stream that kind of goes off to the right. Apart from that, it actually looks fairly open. The only other thing that you can really notice is that off in the distance, a good few miles, you can see what appears to be a massive rock that seems to jut at an angle.
Is there a big dragon on it?
Does it have
Say it one more time.
lions
Is
on
there a
it?
big dragon on it?
There's no lions on it.
Is this a dark version of the scene that we saw earlier? Almost like a Twilight version of it.
As you
I did see that vision.
with the perception that you have, looking about the rock, you can see that there seems to be, again, this is far off, but you can still see almost what appears to be movement atop this rock.
Ted, I think I found your dragon image vision.
I push past everyone when I hear that. Trying to make my way to the front.
Do you exit the cave?
Yes.
This sounds like a trap.
Okay.
Actually,
I already feel like I would have gone in. I wouldn't have stopped just because I noticed that. I would have taken note of it, but I still would have gone in. Because like my alternative is going back into the dude, and I like that to my character would not be an option.
So as he calls out to you that he thinks he found your dragon, you almost like start to push past. See, Gurgle kind of like steps forward, and in a similar fashion to the encampment from before, it's almost as if as Gurgle steps forward, almost like for Gurgle, I'd almost interpret like almost like a jump or a hop forward. It's like he kind of like freezes. You can see his whip still drawn, and see it just stricken
on fire,
an enemy,
actually.
and it would be like a frozen flame as Gurgle is almost effectively suspended in front of you.
Frog, you playing again? Why you playing all
So
the time?
he's frozen.
It almost looks like he just jumped into a photograph and became
So
part
he
of
just
the
became
photograph.
like in stasis.
painting.
Yes.
I think it's the word.
Yes.
I'm in a picture. We did see this before.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you didn't.
Yeah.
We also saw it a second time when he performance and tried to do it again.
No, that was just.
We've only seen this once before.
He's talking about when you guys went through and Gurgle tried to freeze in the air.
I thought you were like floating, so you're still moving, but fair enough.
If he jumps in, and then we use white out on him.
You want the map?
Can I spot Orlavale similar to how I did last time?
At this point, while you can see movement
Is this Lone Peak?
On Lone Peak,
Tiku's gonna run into then.
We're farther back, or the image is like almost zoomed out more.
you are not only further away, but before you had seen what appeared to be almost like warring armies, or warring encampments would probably be a better way to say it. This looks more of what it would look like on a standard day. We're closer to twilight. The area that you're currently in is perhaps maybe a little bit more luscious, or at least the picture. A little bit more trees than you typically see in the surrounding area to Lone Peak.
So you
But-
said before that intent actually made a difference. I'm intending to try and find Orlavale.
Okay.
Sorry, just to clarify, this is the same place as the previous one that he wanted to go to, right?
Yes,
It's the
but
same
different
place, but
time
seems to be a
period.
different scene.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it from the same angle?
No.
Okay.
No, it is not. You seem to be approaching from a completely different...
I would know the direction I assume.
Yeah, so...
Could I?
Before, you guys seem to be approaching Lone Peak from almost like a northeast. I don't know why I struggle with... I only struggle with
Dude, you
east
always
and
do
west.
that.
But it's only when I play D&D. You guys would have been looking at it from a northeast. Now you seem to be approaching it from the south. So you'd be approaching it from the sea.
Okay.
To the point that you being a little bit more familiar with the area, for how far away you are, you're likely you'd be almost like coastal.
So we're close to Icladon.
Yes, that's exactly where area, I should say. Go ahead and make
Perception.
History.
History. I
history.
fucking hate you. 11.
As you continue to focus on the area, searching for Orlavel, he does not seem to appear, but as you look at the image almost does seem to change slightly to where the figures that you see, Gurgle, that seem to be about the peak, there seems to be, especially now that you're in the image for what it's worth, many of them. It almost looks like you're looking at a swarm of bats from a little bit of a distance to where you can barely see them, that all seem to be near Lone Peak.
Well, based on the distance, I can tell that these are large creatures.
They're massive creatures. But with that being the case, you are not able to pick out Orlavel or even get any kind of a sense that Orlavel is there.
I assume when I look back, they're in a freeze frame.
No, you actually can see them.
When you look back, you would look into... So it actually does look like a cave, but it doesn't have the same muddy... Sorry.
Or is it like when you walk through something and then you look back and it just looks like a normal landscape?
That is what you're dealing with. And what for you, as you look
It
back...
doesn't even look like
the cave that you're looking at seems to be... it's almost like think like a hill, but it's like a rock hill with a tunnel that seems to go underground, going towards the coast. And for you, even as you turn around, now flipping off in the distance to what would be the west of you, you would also be able to see Icladon, which Icladon from this distance, Gurgle would not be very familiar with it. All you would know is you see what would it be. It almost looks like a massive cathedral. Again, only telling how large this is because you are able to kind of gauge the distance and match that to the size of what you see in your visual. It seems to be a massive church-like cathedral that seems to be almost blacks and greens in color that has dozens of obelisks. Massive, again, obelisks that jut out, going miles even distance from Icladon, to the point where some of the obelisks actually make their way into the plains surrounding Lone Peak.
So, would being able to determine like how deep a hole is be a nature or survival more knowledge base? Like if you looked at
nature.
a hole...
It's nature because dwarves have advantage on it. And it's a nature check that dwarves specifically have advantage on.
Okay. So, like, being able to look at...
Yeah, it's a nature check, isn't
I
it?
just got advantage on stone-related checks.
I thought it was a nature.
I'll double check. Just continue, though.
Well, this is kind of relevant, because, like, first off, when we were in the tower before it collapsed, or before we presumably collapsed a small portion of the tower...
That was in...
Yes, before we came into the caves.
Yeah.
It's a history
I
check.
assume there would have been windows.
History.
In the cave or
in the actual tower? No, in the actual...
Are you talking about the Brazilian lab?
The Brazilian lab tower, yeah. And we knew, almost as if a person going into a basement, that the lab was basically below ground level.
Oh, very much so.
We went down I think didn't we go down 10 floors?
6.
Yeah.
6 stories.
And
you would have been 4 stories
we would have
underground.
known that the windows stopped at some point.
Yeah.
So we would know that we were decently away. So the reason I'm asking this question is Gurgle would know that from the position that we're at, there's no way that we could have actually realistically gone above ground.
Correct.
Yeah.
Based on how deep under we would have been.
I would say that'd be Gurgle's assumption. You guys have traveled hours, and it's not like the cave has been just straight way. Like you've gone up and down.
It's not like this either.
You would
have had to climb.
Gurgle would be very suspicious that you're at ground level. Okay. So
I just
first.
want to summon Malreth as soon as we exit the caves.
Okay. So none of you guys have really said you stopped. So it's like Gurgle goes in, and then you guys kind of Tiku quickly moves through.
I am
I gotta make the
dragon
joke.
form.
I've been wanting to make this joke the whole time. I'm gonna just do it, get out of my system. Before Zephyr jumps in, he says, "Let's go."
Let's go.
Okay, I'm good now.
It does the whole.
Can say it does not.
You see the little ripple effect?
yeah.
All right, enough Mario.
Guys,
Where are we?
So we're
Bottom left-hand
in-
corner near Icladon.
We're in. So we were.
So we were here, right?
Yes.
Well, sort of. So we're kind of in the Crystal Eye, but what they told us about the Crystal Eye is it's got a network of
So
cameras.
higher.
that
Right,
goes
right.
underneath
It's all
the
freaky
whole-
deaky.
It goes under the whole concept.
So we're not there.
We're not
We're
actually
closer to
here.
like here. We're closer to like here.
Okay.
We're probably in these mountains,
Just to remind you, I am still a dragon.
or maybe even under that water. I don't know. I don't know how deep we are.
How does the curvature of your world work? Would we really be able to see Icladon past all those mountains?
Right, just to let you know, John, this is an
I think
illusion.
this is a
This is
vision. I think
we're
it's
not
a-
actually there.
So in the anchors, they've shown us visions. Like they showed us her homeland in one of
Yeah.
the anchor visions, and her homeland is like way down here.
It's actually closer to the.
Right,
Outer
right. I
Worlds.
remember that because I remember
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clay saying his things. So I don't know. I'm just trying to visualize
We are
it in my
still
head.
So
in the
perspe-
center blue area. We
Also
do not-
perspectively-
I don't think we're actually in the center blue area. I think we're underneath the mountains to the left of the blue area. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
we
where-
teleported, so
Prospectively, so just for those of you who have the map, you would be in between Icladon and Cantivar.
Currently.
Closer to the coast is where this seems to have come out. The only reason you would know this for sure is Kane is actually familiar with this area.
Well, the landscape. But what I'm saying is, like, from an actual functional standpoint, which we would have no way of truly gauging it, we would probably be underneath the mountain, right to the right of where the tower is. Is my guess.
Oh,
In
yeah,
the
as far as where you guys
we
actually are,
actually here.
We'd be somewhere here. I don't think we'd actually be
It
at
depends
the
on if
eye.
we teleported into the crystal line. We're currently in the crystal caves.
But again, he told us, just so you remember, he told us
It's
that the crystal
scrolling
caves are
threads
like
everywhere.
We're in a
all-
painting. We could be anywhere.
crystal
That's an
veins.
assumption.
we could be anywhere and everywhere.
We can,
could
or
be
we could
anywhere
be in a
between
painting.
that place and that place.
With that being the case,
Or that place.
it seems that you have exited near Icladon. With that being the case, Gurgle again being the first one out, and then as you guys
I want to do something.
go ahead.
I'm just immediately starting to look for oddities, like strange things that
He hasn't even described what we see when we get in the painting yet.
I'm saying that I'm specifically trying to find oddities, like when we were in the other visions, like either barriers or weird visual things that wouldn't be normally
You see our
in
party.
a real landscape.
You see our party. That's enough oddities.
I'm
party is
specifically looking
oddities.
at like any kind of like. I'm basically trying to check and see
Yeah.
if there's any kind of like magical illusion or magical effects on the area.
Okay, so you can go ahead and make a perception check. Actually, if you're trying to see
Investigation,
illusions, it's
specifically.
investigation.
I think
It's okay. I'm good at that
Clay's
too.
trying to do the same thing because he's confused.
Okay, so you can go ahead and make an investigation check as well. With that, as you guys all start to exit,
Oh, never
again,
mind. I'm not good at that.
you're familiar with the area.
But I am good at that. Natural 20.
I got an 11.
While you're familiar with the area, you're able to tell without any kind of illusion, this is off. Lone Peak is smaller than it should be. This almost seems to be just a single. This effectively is Lone Peak by itself. However, Lone Peak is surrounded by effectively almost like its own mountain range that rings Lone Peak. But currently, it is again. There's only Lone Peak. It feels almost alien, like what was originally a familiar, almost like this is effectively home, is immediately met with no, it's not. Something's wrong.
Just to remind everyone, I am still in my dragon form. Just FYI.
We appear to be several hundred years in the past. We appear to be several hundred.
Sorry. I was just trying to pull up the string.
That was just Razu using his Kinka.
That was
That's what him and Ethan were doing. Kinku stuff.
Okay, and then for you, Tiku, as you come out, again, you actually are a little bit familiar with this area as well. While not to the level of Kane, Tiku would make note that Lone Peak, although I don't even think you'd know the name of it, but it looks oddly familiar, yet foreign. It's like, I feel like I've been here specifically, almost like a flash through your head as you look to the plains. Almost, again, it's almost like a picture frame in your head. You see a picture of kobolds around a fire, and in a moment, you see a picture of yourself around a fire, and then the next, of kobolds strung through the fields, dead in the dozens, and then back, almost like you just freeze framed through just a bunch of different aspects, or a bunch of different scenes.
By dragons.
We must go. Maybe kobolds hide here.
As Tigu kind of takes a few steps forward, as soon as you step off of that kind of like 10-foot stretch of stone, you stepping into what is more so sandy ground. Despite it being a little bit more savanny, it's almost got it's got too much sand to the point that if it gets windy, you could quickly get like a dust storm. But as soon as you step into the sand almost seems to give and then pull out from under your feet. It almost feels like you stepped on something that is slithering out from under your feet.
Whoa. Stab it.
Tiku takes out. Can you stab with a cleaver? And she takes out a cleaver and hack
Like
into
flinging
the
it
ground.
on the ground like a
On
knife.
the corner. No, on the corner. You could stab with like the corner.
I guess that's true.
Kinda.
As Tiku goes to stab with the two of you, as you are starting to
feel
look
it
for
around, and then you see Gurgle pick up a rock, and he's like looking at it intently. He's like,
as you pick up that rock and lick it, Clay also in tandem with you, him taking a little bit more of a
Scanning.
yeah, a little bit more of like a scanned approach to this. Both of you actually notice within a few moments, technically Gurgle, but for the sake of this, I'm going to say both of you. As soon as Tiku stepped onto the ground, you see the edge of the cave off to the left of you, maybe good like 20 feet of it seems to almost shift just slightly. And then for you, Gurgle, you notice that while 20 feet of it seems to shift, almost like the top portion of it definitely shifts a little bit more. It's almost like you have a rock and it almost seems to spin in place.
like a sentient,
Chop it. That's
or like
boring.
a thing on a rotating disc.
Yeah, like I think we're on a rotating disc.
It looks like a rock almost rotating on a disc, almost like you're looking at some kind of a golem blended into the stone that's head just spun.
Oh.
As you do that, and Tiku
Chop it. I chop
chops
it.
into the
That's my
ground.
word.
You
I don't think you should be stabbing.
Make an
things,
attack.
Tiku.
Roll the hit.
Do it. Gets like
It's
a
moving.
gets like a 38 to hit. That misses.
She's like, oh, snake.
Oh,
Ooh.
that was a good hit. Okay, natural 18. Plus.
I thought she was going to
29.
say that she crit it.
And you stabbed a friggin'
I
squirrel.
was more just saying.
What a
I was more
monster.
just saying that just because it's like it's gonna hit.
I was half
I'm not trying to
expecting.
do a lot
I was
of
half
it.
expecting her to say like, "Oops, that was a crit."
17.
She does crit on 19. She was one off.
17. Okay, so as Tiku steps on, and you guys just watch her almost immediately and slams her cleaver down. While initially you're like, what is Tiku doing? You immediately see what appears to be a light tan spurt of what you imagine to be blood from your cleaver as it strikes and kind of rip it out. The sand where you had just hit almost seems to dig into the ground or fall into the ground.
That's not creepy at all.
As you, almost like second guessing yourself, you look at your cleaver and you see this tan blood that is dripping down your cleaver.
I'm gonna take off so I'm flying, so I'm not touching
I'm
the
gonna
ground.
I'm gonna try to chop out a chunk of sand meat.
Sand meat.
I want to steak a sand meat.
Okay. Go to make a survival check for image of that.
Can I do a medicine check to identify the blood to a creature?
Ooh.
That wouldn't be medicine.
That'd be survival.
History?
That would be
Oh,
survival. You're trying to determine.
Faith in the dead?
I have bless. Is bless right from?
No! Sorry, 1 second. I need to double check.
Is bless right from?
I'm not actually 100% sure if this is a
It
favorite.
only works on saving throws and attacks. Guidance is what you're looking for.
It is not a faith healer.
Grand total of 12.
10 blood's off. You've seen a lot of blood. You feel like you've seen 10 blood in some desert creatures, especially like insects. Couldn't place it from simply this. With that being the case, Tigu, what'd you get?
29.
29. As you start to kind of, it just moved under your foot, and you go to start to cut into it and effectively gather a sample, only to realize this sand under you, and even in the immediate proximity to you, it's just sand. Doesn't seem to move. Whatever you stepped on does not seem entirely prevalent in this clearing. And then,
There's things in the sand.
in addition to that, you would actually hear in your head,
Called worms.
"Why do you hunt children?"
Oh, is that a kid child? I'm sorry.
She's
Tico
yelling.
don't kill children.
Almost.
What's the rock
almost
that I like?
As that pull back, you all would actually hear like a, and again, you two kind
Was
of
the
focused
rock-
on that rock, see that it almost seems to sink into the mountain slightly.
Was the rock that I licked a live sentient being?
Did you lick one of the children?
I don't know.
Okay, you might get on a list.
I think.
But if I did,
I think only Tiku heard.
but if I did, it would be poisoned.
Yeah, TQ is the only one that heard it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be.
Do you know where the kobolds are?
All right.
Is
Who
she
are
saying
you
this out
talking
loud?
to?
Hey, girl, will you seal that head?
No, I was thinking it in my brain.
Tiku's that smart?
I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
Yeah, neither do
but I think it's probably the guardian of this area.
Hey guys, there's a head over there that sunk into the wall.
As he actually points it out, and as you think to yourself, Tiku, do you know who the kobolds are? You just hear, yes. And as that is actually said, that is actually verbally said, and you guys watch as that stone almost like hinge where you're walking, its jaw almost seems to open, and sand almost like a dragon's breath where smoke comes out as it talks. Sand just seems to almost like bleed from its mouth. As it falls to a stone in front of it, you watch as that stone, this white cobblestone, quickly starts to almost like break down and becomes a familiar muddied style of stone. This is the hallway that you guys were actually just in. It seems that whatever the sand that comes from this breath seems to turn stone to mud. If it interacts with other things, you're not entirely sure, but almost in a
That doesn't look
pool,
good.
like drool turning stone to sand.
Do you like to eat kobolds, or do you just see the kobolds and watch them?
As it almost like its hiding spot has been revealed, it kind of, and you watch as the stone around it just starts to break apart as its head breaks off from the stone, and what initially almost looked to be like a rock that looked a little bit odd and you thought maybe construct is now actually a little bit of a elongated head, a single horn that stretches from its forehead with 4 separate eyes just below it. The two eyes below the. Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh my goodness.
Bananas.
Sorry. The two eyes on the bottom are both closed and seem to be almost like covered in a mud. Think like when your eyes when you wake up
Crusty.
and you've got sleepers and your eyes are crusty. It's like that with like mud and stone in the bottom 2 eyes. As its head rips from the stone, it seems to gain color. Its skin goes to like a bit of a bit more of like a gray with some green flare on the 2 sides of it, and you see what appears to be the head of a rhinoceros. with a large orange mustache going just below its nose, and again a large horn.
I like this right now.
It's got 4 eyes. You got something in your eye there, and I cast Mage Hand, and I kind of like brush it off with the invisible Mage Hand, try to brush off some of the dust, not knowing how firm it is caked on.
It does seem to be almost like stone-like as you try and brush it off. Doesn't seem to react to the mage hand.
It doesn't.
Though.
It's too stuck on there. I can't get it off your eyes. Sorry.
So everyone, what is that?
Oh, it's a rhino.
If I were to guess, you mentioned that a core controlled these creatures. Perhaps this is a guardian of said core.
Hey, I only saw one of these one time when I was traveling.
Oh, it's sentient. Oh, rock creature, what is your name?
As the creature, it almost seems like it tries to smile, but the sides of its mouth are just similar to the eyes, seem slightly crusted over. It kind of almost prevents it from fully opening its mouth. But you also notice that where you would typically see teeth is instead what appears to be almost like a bird beak that it would use if it were to bite something, rather than the typical teeth that you would see in any kind of like a mammal-like creature.
Well, it has a beak in its mouth.
No, so it's like as it opens its mouth, the edges of its mouth, so almost like your lip, rather than being like a soft lip like a mammal would have, it almost comes down to a point, similar to a beak like a bird would have. And it seems like it would use...
It's a rhino with a bird head. Got it.
Kinda. In response to you, Clay, says, my name is Dagniel.
Daniel?
Dagniel. With a G.
Hello, Dagnil. My name's Clay. Clay Beekman.
I heard Daniel too, Ticker.
I know.
Why are you here? Why are you speaking?
Do you work with the man in stone?
Well,
do you want us dead too?
At this point, he actually breaks the rest of his body breaks free. Only other real things about him that are of note to you guys. His body actually seems to be that of almost like a lion. It is more so furred, but the edges of the fur are very clearly spiked, like to a point that like you're like
spiked to a point.
Almost like his fur is almost porcupine-like in nature. He has large spine of spikes that actually. So he's got the single horn that comes out from the front of his head. There's a small gap. And then almost like from the back of his neck going down, he has a spine of spikes. And then he has 2 wings that are entirely too small for his stature. This creature is probably like, he's about 40 feet long. And the 2 wings that he has are maybe about like 4 feet on each of them. Proportionately, they actually look entirely too small. And the winged part of it, rather than being feathered or furred, is bat-like. Very perspectively, not a creature that could fly. The wings almost look like they're there for decoration.
Dagniel, what are you?
I'm less concerned about what he is and more concerned about
Why he's here.
why he is looking at us.
Dagnil, why are you?
Why?
Yeah, why are you?
He seems almost confused by your question. He tries to think to himself for a moment. He says, I don't know what I am anymore. I simply know I protect. As he looks out to the plains, very clearly in the direction of Lone Peak.
Protect what from what?
King. From intruders.
Oh, we're not intruders. We're just running from a guy in the stone.
He looks towards the cave entrance, which again, at this point, almost just looks like normal scenery. And he goes, men can't live in stone.
This one can.
This one does. He's freaky. He's a freaky deaky man.
Weren't you in the stone?
In response to that, he exhales what effectively looks like, it almost would give off the impression of like a breath attack from a dragon. And as he exhales, sand along the top of the cave, the stone just kind of, and not crumbling, but instead falling to dirt and sand, and he causes effectively a cave-in, sealing the entrance.
So you said you're here to protect the king?
Yes.
Oh, wait a second.
Which king?
My king.
Who is?
Is he a rhino?
He has a rhinoceros head.
Rhinoceros.
I was
meant,
literally
like,
asking if his
asking
king was a
the
rhino.
king. The king is a
Apologies.
rhino.
He's like a snake rhino.
No. The king of dragons.
You do not refer to Bahamut, do you?
Are you talking?
Would be prince.
Are you
A
talking about?
king. And he almost seems to he seems to stand up like a bit straighter, like you've said something hostile. He says, "What plans do you know, fake dragon?"
We don't know nothing. All I can tell you is that there's a guy in the stone, and I just thought of something really scary. What if he can inhabit the stone dragon? Rhino.
I'm gonna call you Rhino Rock. You like Rhino Rock?
His name is Dagnall.
Rock Rhino.
Dagniel.
All right, I see how it is.
Is again almost in response to this, as he says that, sand kind of seeps out. Is
Sorry,
that sand
I didn't mean
kind
to
of like moves
cut you
towards
off,
you,
King. I know you were having a moment.
not
of
to the point
dragon.
that you can't move away from it, but you kind of like back up a little bit as it hits, and it burns, much like the feeling of acid as it touches your skin. You watch as your adamantine armor, as it hits it, it just seems to almost like bleed through it in grains of sand. But it's very clear that your armor, in the face of whatever this thing's breath is, this sand that it seems to breathe, means nothing as it seeps into your armor, through your armor, into your skin. And again, it's almost like, think like when you're cooking on the stove and grease splashes you, you feel that on your shoulder as that sand hits you.
Wouldn't that be like kind of all breath attacks? Because armor class has never mattered versus breath attack.
He's saying that your armor might actually be degraded if this sand were to hit it in full force.
It seems that whatever this thing's breath is, not only can it break down stone, like your adamantine armor, which is one of the strongest materials that would be known in the world, seems to be able to be broken down by whatever this thing's breath is.
Well, seems like we don't exactly know why we're here.
Nate. Keep your weapon away from him. It'll be a very expensive loss.
Would you happen to know a way we could pass through?
For what?
I feel like
To leave?
Where
feel
do
like-
you wish to go? As he looks out to the plain, and to this, so
Isn't the plane like white? Like it's mist? We can't.
no,
It's not the same. as
You
the-
you seem to just be looking at the world. You can see Lone Peak off. So if you want
Oceans behind us.
full perspective,
All right, so
you'd have
you-
oceans to the south. For what it's worth, while you can see Icladon in the distance, there is no sign of Tiltifar.
Oh.
If Tiltifar, if this is part of this world, this is the time that Tiltifar does not exist. But even like off to the right, again, this is like miles away, but just being a little bit familiar with the landscape and it being pointed out to Kane, like you can even see where the trees would begin off to the east to where the Dryson Woods would start to barely start to spawn. Mountains to the north of that would eventually bring you to the Shadowcrest Mountains. And then off to the left would just be plains for miles as far as you can see.
So, from my understanding, we are looking for our friend.
Fan,
His name is Serval. Do you know him?
not the Dragon Prince, but perhaps the banished one.
The banished one? Do you banish people in the Crystal Veins?
Seems almost confused by the question. I guess.
Do you know what the crystal veins are?
Does the
Constructs, workings.
Were you around when the crystal veins were created?
they're in the making? Is what you're saying, right? Yeah.
I know not what you speak. I am a guardian of the vault for his king.
What is your king's name?
He seems almost even more skeptical of you upon you asking what his king's name is. The King of Dragons.
Is he a platinum dragon?
Oh, yes. his name is Keith. Does that trigger maybe anything to try and correct me?
So he seems upset and confused. He says,
Okay, excuse me. What kind of fucking dragon's name is Keith?
He looks back to the tunnel entrance that he just collapsed. He says, "How long have you been underground?"
A very long time.
Very long time. What year is it? And who is the king now, if not Keith? That's a bluff. Okay.
You can go ahead and make. Would that be deception or performance?
Deception.
That would be a deception. Yeah, go ahead and make a deception check.
Oof, 11.
11 is. I'm being mocked.
You are not being mocked.
You're not being mocked. You're just not forthcoming with the answers. Like, we asked you who the king is 3 times. He won't give us his name. We clearly don't know who he is.
The only king I know of, or the soon-to-be king, is Olivale.
I thought he was never the king.
He will be.
A fledgling. And he seems to stop for a moment and think.
We are from your far future.
You said Muhammad was king.
In our time, yes.
So what happens to Marcute?
I think he gets forgotten in the crystal veins.
No.
Right, Marhute.
Okay.
Marcute.
Can I do a history check?
Cute?
Or a religion check? One of the two.
Like
Does
cute?
Marcute was the previous Bahamut.
It's actually it's Markit or Markut. How did I even say this? I can't say it if I'm not.
Marcute.
So it's
Marcus.
not cute at the end. It's
Marcus.
K-U-L.
Colt.
No T.
Cole.
L.
Marcule.
Yeah,
Marcule.
Marcule. That's how you would say it without the accent. I'm doing it the way he says it. Marcule is 100%.
I didn't realize you were. It sounded like a T.
Hey,
Marcule?
Mr. Marcule,
No, that's
this
the
is
previous
not
king.
He's
dragon.
dag.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm
Neil.
getting confused with all the names.
Daniel?
So is your Marcule god? Does he have multiple heads?
No.
Just one head?
Pretty sure that'd be a queen.
You are unfamiliar with the Dragon Wars, then.
I'm unfamiliar with.
Dragons declared war on the gods.
We fight the gods now. They will fall soon. At the hands of Marcule.
No, they will not.
Is he a time dragon?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm from the future. You guys lost that one.
We did not lose. We were betrayed.
You didn't win.
How would our king lose?
Does he have a time?
Natural's time. Every fight is won.
Yeah, he's trapped at the bottom of a big cave.
How?
I don't know.
Didn't you just say
That's
it was
crazy.
betrayal?
He's not happy about it, I can tell you that. Does he have multiple voices? Does he talk to himself?
That's the guardian. Not the guardian, the gatekeeper.
Are you sure?
Does he have different colored eyes?
I think you're crazy. I think it's the same person.
No. Of the messengers.
Because they talk to us
They taunt us.
in the darkness.
They look at us through the walls. I poke their eyes to try and get them to stop looking at us.
They killed us.
They did kill us in his vision.
I was passed out the whole time.
If you come from a future so bleak, how can we change it? How can dragons win?
Well, first off,
hold on. First off, it wasn't so bleak.
I mean, it kind of is, actually.
There were some silver linings, such as this lovely clay Beekman Marlowe, which I offer to you as a gift.
Can rock rhinos drink fine?
I just like stand back in case he just decides to eat clay.
Set it down.
Taste the future.
As you put it down on the ground, you notice while you didn't notice it even yourself, Gurgle, you didn't notice this immediately. Is again, most of you are standing on the stone apart from Tiku. As you had set it down, there's now almost like a bunch of sand on the ground, and this isn't where his breath had hit. And as you put the bottle in, as you set the bottle in, it almost like sinks into the floor, and then that sand almost like moves and falls off of the stone, moving back into this more so almost again savanna-like
Didn't you say that
area.
Didn't you say that she killed one of those and that it was a kid?
She hunts the young.
Okay.
Yeah, but that means that you fed alcohol to your young.
No.
Okay. So wasn't this the future you looked for?
No.
Did
This is several centuries in the past, as
So-
I've stated.
What would the future look like if the gods won that war?
The one that we're
Or if the gods lost that war, if the dragons won, I mean,
that's
sorry.
That's what happened.
The small races would have been enslaved.
Tiku.
Oh.
Tiku's tribe that we just saw.
Small races.
Just
so
on a grand scale.
halflings, gnomes.
Humans, orcs.
Oh. Small to dragons.
Kane's like, and it would have been glorious. Sorry.
Good.
The past cannot be changed.
We cannot
No.
determine that.
It can't be changed.
Well, I
The
mean,
only
Wait, hold on,
it
Zephyr,
would-
though.
Technically, it can't be changed for us.
Hold up.
It can't be changed.
Hold up.
for him
Hold on.
either.
You guys keep talking. Let him
Time out.
finish, and then go.
These points are set in stone.
Time out. In an alternate life, I was an elf, okay, and they did in fact change the events when you guys went into the past.
It's not that simple.
I just wanted to pop your argument
So-
a little bit.
Did you not?
So context, real quick. So hold for a second. You guys do need to let Zephyr finish. Paul actually was not playing Gurgle at the beginning of this campaign.
Yes?
When they were in the death games, they went into a Temple of Time to basically pass a trial. It's the first time they interacted with the Chrono Hunter, which I believe I mentioned before. That is what he's referring to.
And it did, in fact, change events of that area.
It changed effectively the outlook of the temple that they were on. With that being the case, go ahead and finish Zephyr.
So-
and then
We can only change illusions of the present, but not actually change
But here's the
actions
thing.
of the past.
I believe we can actually change the actions of the past, but they won't be changed for us because we will still remember that alternate timeline.
As soon as we leave
Their
this,
future is our past.
As soon
and
as-
once that's done, it can't be rewritten, but we can rewrite a new future.
you're considering a multiverse theory, and no, it doesn't work that way.
Are you sure?
Are we sure? Has
Every-
anyone tried it?
There effectively, once we leave this place, that universe ceases to exist. If it were to alter from our reality,
Would it only cease to exist to us? Would it still persist for others?
as far as it goes, it stops persisting.
As far as we know?
The counter argument.
I mean, there's always the speculation that it could exist, but there's only one true reality.
Well, but hold on, time out, Zephyr. We're in a vision where the elf chica said that when we go to our timeline that her great descendant will have a gift for us. So what if we get out of here and there's actually a gift for us? Then your whole argument is busted.
And if we get out of there,
Or-
then is it?
No, because those
Or-
actions,
Then he's right, but
those actions, those
Already
actions
happened.
existed already.
Or
already happened.
Everything we've done in the past that supposedly changes our future
Have
or our
already
present had
existed.
already existed.
No matter what
Though
we do,
the
yeah.
universe will not allow a loop to happen where something would affect us going into the past, making the changes, and then coming back.
this is why. I hope
so
time
why
stuff.
why would they not allow that?
No matter what happens here, the dragons will still lose.
Because you create the grandfather paradox.
So, he would interject at this point, but I want to let Rozzy go first. You had something.
So what you're telling me, Zephyr, is if we can't change the future, then fate is real, and that riddle was bullshit.
You still make your choices.
Shouldn't have let him go.
You still make your own choices. Your choices are effectively predetermined based off your spirit, per se.
Or in other words,
would actually chime in
fate?
at this point. As Dagniel chimes in, as you guys are talking about effectively time, your paradoxes, he goes, none of you can control time.
We're not saying we can control it.
We have been interacting with time's been interacting with us.
Is this more of the river theory?
No.
At this point,
time is an ever-flowing river. We can make ripples, but the river will always course correct.
More or less.
Didn't you get us here?
Hold that thought. As you ask, you guys would actually hear a different voice. As another individual says, well, it's not entirely true. Which would be familiar to you. As you proffer your questions and kind of like almost like catching your attention, especially you flying as well, at the atop this that almost like a cave-like entrance, that almost little mound. There's a human that seems to have he's tan, but to the point of like his, even especially in the twilight, his skin seems to almost glisten like he has scales. That said, he looks entirely human in his features. He's got long, dreaded braids that go down just it would be probably about down to his elbows, honestly. They are adorned with jewels. They are wrapped through each of the braids, and his garments themselves seems to be wearing a purple robe, has rings adorning his fingers, a golden necklace. All of the jewelry that is all about him seems to be gold, in almost entirely. It's dyed for some of it, making it look almost like multiple different precious stones. But even with like a little bit of an inspection, it'd be clear that he seems to adorn himself with exclusively gold. Go ahead, Zephyr.
Yep. Friend of yours
looks up. Why are you here? A necessary step. Unfortunately, I don't know what the rest of you are doing here, but he must go.
Who is this?
His voice sounds close to Orlavel's.
When he said he must go, was he pointing at King?
No, he's pointing to Dagniel is who he's pointing to.
The lizard rhino dragon.
As he does that, though, you see there's almost like a pocket of air, like a visible bubble that appears in front of Dagniel, and Dagniel almost confused, and then you see almost like alarm that appears in front of him as that orb seems to detonate. As soon as it detonates, Dagniel is sent flying, 60 feet to be exact, as Dagniel, this massive creature, looking like it looks like an explosion with like a doll that is just sent, as Dagniel, despite being again massive and by the sound of him hitting the ground extremely heavy, you watch as he and just rolls through. He hits one of those trees that you had seen from before and just completely takes it out. Just you watch his wood splinters shatter into the air as this individual on top of the hill says, "One moment." And as he lowers his hand, he's gone.
I just wanted to, as soon as I recognized it was Orlavel, I would have immediately landed into a bowing posture.
Okay. So as you land into the bowing posture, in that moment, he's gone. And kind of like look around, and then you being the first, and then the rest of you quickly notice that he is standing over in the field, his hand atop this rhinoceros-like dragonoid construct. as he placing his hand on him, he says, "You know, this would have been much easier if that kept you down." As the creature immediately almost like reels onto its feet and effectively tries to gore him. It's just as he almost, in a very casual, he almost like seems to just step back, but as he does, it's almost like a jump as he lands in the midst of all of you. So for the sake of this, these two people are going to roll initiative, and then you guys need to tell me what you do.
God, like I already know like where he's going to go. Oh, God.
Okay, Mr. Dragon Simp.
So
What do we do?
So you guys can continue to converse.
I would have. I want to add just one thing. I would have.
I'm gonna go up and use the restroom real quick.
That's fine.
I would have whispered, "Olafale," and then immediately bound.
So I'm just saying I shoot him.
Okay, so
Wait.
John, do you know anything about these events?
No,
Okay.
no fucking clue.
Wait, your dragon god's a Viking?
Okay, maybe.
Viking?
You're right.
What? He said he was just a human.
With dreadlocks.
That's not Viking. Is he white?
What? He has dreadlocks? Viking.
He's about a
You remember Malorith is here, right? Yes. Okay. You just haven't explained anything that she's
It
doing.
is
So
a freaking rhino rock, dude.
that's what he said.
Okay, so
It's the face of a rhino, beak of a bird, body of a lion.
would have been this guy.
Rock rhino is very good.
And then the majority of you.
Oh, I'm just the blue one. If that makes any sense.
Tigu is the only person who's out in the sand. You guys were.
I probably would have landed in the sand because
If you were flying, we can take it.
I haven't really. I'm gonna try.
I don't know where
the mini.
Gurgle is. Oh. He's in front of me. 3, 4, 5.
Oh, he's not very good. But...
There we go. Okay, so I need to roll initiative for both of these individuals.
Yes, Keeping. I try.
Yours. Actually, for the sake of this, just in case you guys decide to take action, I would like you guys to go ahead and roll initiative as well. I just thought about this.
Yeah,
mini
right.
for Orlavale.
Change the color.
Or the veil air quotes.
I will move to grab him as well. Okay, so I got.
What the?
He's bowing on the
Kane
floor.
is not initiative focused, apparently.
Literally. You're literally not.
Why am I supposed to appease you, Jasmine? You did not let me pray to you for guidance. Goddess of wisdom, my ass.
Yes, it was you that did that.
Yeah, I know.
If it makes you feel better, I think I rolled lower than you.
I doubt it.
Hey, I can't roll
What's your
higher.
plus?
I can't roll higher than you.
Oh shit! I also rolled like shit.
We're all just stunned.
All right, you ready?
4.
Alright.
2.
This man does not have dreadlocks, but he is what he's saying.
I rolled a 3.
He would have.
See, we
So
both
step back
beat you.
and
Get
start-
wrecked.
Oh,
John,
I'm a god. Okay, so they got a
Plus?
17 and a 9. So I need to know if you're in between a 17 or a 9.
I'm in between.
We got 2, 3, 4.
So the only ones that I
1,
need to know
2,
is actually
3,
in
4.
between because everybody else would technically go together.
well, one is 9 times higher than me, and the other one's 17 times higher than me.
Okay, so what did you get? 12. And then anyone else get in between 17 and 9?
I got 15.
15. So we got Gurgle and
16,
Clay.
actually. I apologize.
Either way.
Woo! We're doing good, guys.
Gurgle
So question,
and Clay.
man.
All right,
So
and
you
then for
want
the
to buy
sake of
him
this,
just to see
who got above a
what they
17?
are now.
No one.
No one got above 17? So that just means
I
he
got a
would
grand total after the plus of 2.
goaded.
We are not prepared at all.
It's not too often that the DM gets to go first when he's rolling against 6 people.
Okay, so Dagniel is actually who rolled higher, and upon seeing this creature,
Kind of cool though.
he is going to go
that position with your.
Hey, Mr. Rhino guy, what does this guy you're trying to spear with your nose?
As he runs up and you ask that, like in the middle of his charge, you just hear, traitor, as he is definitely going to hit. That's a 27 to hit. It's going to be...
So, wait, who's hitting who? I'm sorry.
Dagniel is hitting...
So Dagniel got first.
Dagniel got first, and then it's going to be yourself and Gurgle, and then it'll be Mystery Man, whose voice reminds him of Orlavel. His gore does 42 points of piercing damage.
Traitor against the dragons or traitor against people, or like I need a little bit more specific so I know who to hit.
Woo!
Okay. So as he gores, and you ask him out, this is traitor against dragons, the king. With that, it's the two of you. How do you react to this mystery figure that has shown up? For what it's worth, Kane is kneeling to.
He also did say Orlavel as he was doing it.
Basically, when he showed up and spoke first, Kane would have, his head would have snapped up and he would have been like, Orlavel. And then immediately hit the ground, almost like a rock, into a kneeling position.
Well,
You know
wait.
that your dude killed a rhino rock.
Tiku, do you need to eat that guy's soul?
Which one?
I pointed to the dragon guy.
So he's pointing to Dagniel.
Dagniel? I like Dagniel.
But aren't you supposed to eat a dragon soul?
He's not a dragon.
I mean, it actually
I'm not
kind of
pointing
is.
to Dagniel, I'm pointing to the gold guy.
Well, actually, both of them
A
are
platinum.
Technically, I
Yeah,
think both of them.
platinum one.
Oh, it needs to be platinum.
Technically, you need a divine dragon, and the divine dragon can be any color, but yes.
It is correct. Again, platinum. So the way that I've interpreted platinum and what it is here, platinum isn't like a color of a dragon. Platinum implies divinity to a dragon. So you could have a platinum gold dragon.
You could eat Tiamat and fulfill your thing.
Yes.
All right,
you could
so-
also do it if you ate Bahamut.
Yeah.
You just need to eat a dragon with divine blood, which makes them a platinum.
It's
Okay.
just not eating Tiamat, though. Those
So-
whispers.
Do I feel like this is the dragon I should eat? Do I get any like heart beating faster?
You do not get any kind of... The one thing I will say is you are convinced the rhino is a dragon. Very similar sense of fear that he seems to have let you guys pass on. But
I'm
the
immune
presence
here.
that he has
we
would
didn't-
be...
So the problem is I really like Dragnir.
You don't feel any way about eating these two more than normal.
More
About
than normal.
everything you eat.
Tiku is confused and likes Dagnail. Is
I
kind
like
of what we've gotten so
Dagnail.
far.
you look at Dagniel the same way you look at Zephyr.
You got one of
Everyone
them
confused.
refillable.
No, I really like Zephyr though.
I don't know either. That's what I'm saying.
You guys can choose to not act if you'd like.
Razu would just
I
look
would
at
like
himself.
to take my action to step
a little bit
away
more than
from
bloody.
between these two as I decide what course to take.
So he did cave in the entrance.
Right.
That is as far back as you can go.
I don't want to go back. I want to go lateral from the encounter.
Would you like to go this way or over here? Either way, you can make it.
Either.
Oh, I need to unzoom.
Whichever
I had it
keeps
zoomed
over
in.
right here.
Okay, Gurgle, are you doing
Can I
anything
action
or?
dash to go a little bit further that way?
You just go around the rock, yeah.
I can zoom in, I guess, a little on them.
You'd be in the sand if that's all right.
That would be in the sand, which doesn't. There is things that seem to be alive in the sand. What they are?
Right, but they don't seem to be hostile towards me because I'm not hostile towards Dagniel.
Okay. As you jump into the sand, there does not seem to be any effect. Your theory is supported. Are you doing anything, Gurgle, or you kind of lost in the sauce for what's going on right now?
I'm just gonna do like an acrobatic performance, flip over both of them, and be like, I don't know who's the bad guy.
60 minutes.
No. I go this way and then flip over, like over his face and over him.
So you're trying to be like right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check if you want to do it with flair.
They both take an opportunity attack. That's 700 damage.
I just want to know who's gonna try and hit me, or if neither of them are trying to hit me.
So you're purposely
Make your acrobatics check first.
opportunity attack.
Oh, he would, and then you. I got it. I see the mechanic. Yeah.
Not great, actually, weirdly enough. I'm normally very good at this.
The sand is not very good fitting.
I slipped.
You have
All
fallen,
the same.
and you can't get up.
12.
12.
Don't you have reliable talent?
It's actually still enough.
I mean, I also just jump really high.
Yeah, with what you are, still enough. It's not clean though. Gurgle is actually usually pretty flamboyant.
Oh, actually, never mind. I'm actually proficient in this 20. I forgot.
Literally what I said. Don't you? even still, it's not as I would say it's not as good as some of the stunts that you've done. As you go to jump over him, a little bit not underestimating his height, but the height of the horns on his back. Your foot gets slightly clipped to where you still make it, and you're still able to, it almost like forces an aerial in the landing as you kind of and then land it. You're like, wow.
No one saw that.
As kind of like prepared for something to happen. Dagniel does not even seem to look at you. This human, presumably Orlavel, as he kind of like looks over at you, you can see that he kind of like raises his hand and goes, "What are you doing here?"
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, seems you're inconsequential. As that would go to his turn, unless you have something else you'd like to do. That was technically a dash, so you would have some
Razi
action.
just staring
being a
at
rogue.
Kane at the floor.
So, a draconic bow is not like a human, like full on. A draconic bow is just a slight lowering.
It would be lowering your head.
Yeah.
Effectively, if a dragon was bowing to someone, they'd lower their head to the floor.
Yes. So I'm still ready for combat, technically, even though I rolled shit for initiative. But it is basically just showing that you're not hostile.
I would argue it makes you vulnerable to an attack, though.
Yeah, fair.
I would still be looking at you.
What's the plan, Mr. Dragon Simp?
Dragon Simp.
We literally agreed that's what we were calling you. Just because the cave combat's over.
Somewhere. Because I have proficiency in darts.
If you believe you can take on Olavel,
I just have darts.
be my guest.
So we're sitting on the sidelines.
Draconic combat is allowed.
I would say you could have some darts.
Just like a couple.
Yeah, they're not anything fancy.
I
they're
take
just
my
darts.
turn, and I start coating them in my own poison.
Okay. As just so you know, that is not an action thing. That is going to take a bit.
No, it is. It is for poisoner feet.
Oh wait, you do have the poisoner feat. Apologies,
Actually,
you're
I
right.
think it's a bonus action.
I mean, then you would have action dashed and then bonus action.
Preparing and applying poison.
Yeah, apologies. I forgot you had the poisoner feat. Okay, so Gurgle starts to code it. As you say draconic combat is allowed, he looks back and he smiles and he says, someone who understands. Interesting. As he holds his hand out, and having just been gored, the Dagniel, almost like in the rear motion, he kind of like reaches up his hand and places it under his jaw. And he is going to...
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, so this is a Constitution saving throw.
If you're gonna zap me, zap for make sure it's a dex save.
26. Which
At least then I can hopefully avoid it.
Okay. As he holds his hand up and he places it effectively almost like on the chin of Dagniel, you watch as the hide that kind of that is tight and this is a very muscular creature to the point where its skin is very tight. You watch as it almost seems to sag. It almost looks like he gets older as his skin almost starts to droop a little bit. You see the bulky nature to his two front legs almost seem to lose. They almost seem to atrophy slightly as he kind of stumbles slightly and takes his hand off and he goes, holding up pretty good. Your guys' turn. So there'd be 4 of you.
All right, I got it. I know what I'm gonna do. He didn't say anything. I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, I literally
Holding up pretty
Let him go first.
walk away. Like, I just move my full distance out of the way. It's like, this has nothing to do with me, but if I get hit by anything, I'll get involved. And you don't want that.
Okay.
Why did you get so cocky, Zephyr?
Fucking channeling 2 gods. Okay?
I'm gonna
He has a right to be cocky.
I'm gonna walk over
I'm not gonna let them know that because I have a feeling that's gonna get killed in this
not to them,
time,
to you,
but
to grab the potion.
You look around and it's not there.
Can you supply
get
me
you
with
killed
the
in this
potion,
time.
please?
Not currently.
Bruh, didn't someone else get one? A fillable potion?
Zephyr.
You know me up?
So for clarification,
I'm a little bit more than blind.
I mean,
Wait, how'd you get hit?
You got to come over here.
Oh,
just have-
Because
previous.
Hiram reaction 100 fire damaged me, yeah.
Previous, yes.
Well,
yes.
you gotta wait till next turn.
Oh no, that's 30 feet. He still has his action and bonus action.
Yeah, but I can't handle
I guess-
anything. I can't grab anything.
Can't I
He could
action
grab it off you.
grab it?
I think you can. You can take an item from another player as an action.
I thought it was an item.
Actually, is it in the necklace?
It would just be on my person.
At that point,
Isn't
I'd say
it
you can use
item
his
action?
to take it as long as you're willing to.
Zephyr,
I thought it was an item
what if
action.
we are supposed to grandfather paradox this
Yeah, but
thing?
my item
What if
action to pick up an
we're
item of a
supposed
willing
to kill
creature.
No, it's an action to
Dagniel
take an item.
so the
from another
dragons
creature.
can lose.
It's an item action to pick up an item off the ground.
It doesn't.
So are you allowing him to take the potion? He just runs up and he effectively, like almost like
He's
literally
like, "I need
searching
the
about
potion."
your person. He's like, "You got a potion, right?"
Zephyr's got like a 50-50 on like allowing him to do this, just out of
Principle.
the relationship of him and Razu right now.
He's like patting you down.
You got a potion? I need a potion.
I'll allow it.
So the reason I 100% it's an action is because if you were trying to take it, it would be sleight of hand.
Okay. For flavor,
Like it's in the pouch.
for flavor, can I move?
I'll just say I
that
like help
white,
grab.
how much would you say that white rock weighs right there?
At that size,
That's like the size of you.
probably like 500, 600 pounds, if not more.
probably more, I would say.
That's a boulder.
It would actually. He's definitely that would be like. That would legitimately be like 1,400 pound rock.
Have you ever tried to move like rocks that you get from like an
Hey,
excavator?
this rock is. Think about a rock as big as this table.
Remember, rocks are dense.
It's as big as this table.
That's literally the size of a person. It's half the size of this table.
It'd be half the size of the
Like
table.
if you're standing up, it would be a rock bound.
The answer is it's too heavy for you to pick up.
I don't even think you could get your hands around that.
Oh, whatever.
You could maybe push it.
I'd say Rosie could roll it.
Okay. So we're grabbing potion. We gonna sit on the rock.
How much movement do you have? He's moved 30 at this point. Oh, no, he was on there, but I did 5 up to me, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I did diagonal.
30 would be back to there. That's 25.
Could I not just jump the rock? Why the fuck?
You cannot jump to get more movement. That would be your movement.
Why couldn't you jump to?
So jumping utilizes movement. If you have 30 feet of
But-
movement, you can go 6 squares, no more.
To be fair, though,
Yeah, I'm still going 6 squares. I'm just jumping, so I go over the rock instead of around the rock.
The rock didn't. No, you went
the rock
to
didn't
Kane. Is
increase your-
why.
You went to Kane. You were 10 feet from Kane to go and check Kane for a potion.
You didn't go around the rock. You went to Kane, then you went left.
I was assuming I was.
What are you
asking that
trying to
before I
do?
went
Are you just trying to sit on the rock and drink your potion?
I'm sitting on the rock.
Kiku, would you be a dear and pass me some rock candy?
As Razu sits on the rock.
And I will elegantly pour the potion into a glass tubes. Alchemy supplies. What are they called? Vial. I pour it into another vial and drink it like some fancy glass.
Okay. Tigu, how are you reacting to this?
I'm not being pulled by either one, like supernaturally or anything.
Not supernaturally. Are you pulled to either one?
Yes, but I should maybe not get involved yet. I pull out the orb. I hold it up to the dragon.
Does it do a change?
It does. It starts to glow.
which one? The gold one? The
Dagniel.
Dagniel, what if I hold it to the other one?
Tigu kind of like they're like mid combat. Tigu's like.
God,
doesn't
my
seem to
sword.
react to the human.
God, my sword.
What orb? You're talking about the one?
It doesn't react to the human?
Nope.
Does
Only
it,
reacts to
Isn't this the
Dagniel.
soul orb?
does not react to the gold dragon either.
No, so it reacted to Dagniel. It did not react to the golden human. I'm the golden dragon, so
Wait,
is Malrith.
What's the other dragon?
There's
two dragons.
There is no dragon.
He is convinced that is Orlevel, and Orlevel is a dragon.
But that person.
But he's
the
a human.
person.
Yes.
They think
He's
the
convinced that the person is a dragon.
Is a dragon.
Yes.
He's convinced that the person is a dragon.
And Dagniel also called him a traitor to dragons.
Called the human traitor to dragons.
Shit. Daniel, do you protect the kobolds? Do you like kobolds or do you not like kobolds?
I don't think of kobolds. They live.
But you protect.
They die. As he goes to attack him again. Is how that would go. He does not seem...
I like orange mustache, okay?
She's attached to his
mustache?
So Tiku has spent her turn... So you're
Shit,
sitting,
I put the more back on my head.
as Tiku is holding. Tiku is like, is stuck in a dilemma.
Tiku, come over here.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I would like to do some sort of check. I have an innate connection to Orlevel, and yes, I know that I'm assuming this is Orlevel because it looks, or well, it sounds like Orlevel. I don't know if I've ever seen his human form, but can I make some sort of check to see if I have a connection to this individual?
Let's make a religion check.
That works. Can I guidance this? It's like this.
No.
You're not using like my action to guidance and do the religion at the same time?
No, actually, yes.
Okay.
Because you're effectively casting a spell and then you're searching for it. Apologies, yes. Yes, you can. Definitely.
Now he truly is saying, "Guide my sword."
18? It's not as strong, but you feel the pull. The only thing is, before, it was like a connection. Now it almost feels like you're reaching, but almost like the hand hasn't been extended back yet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Think like you had a relationship with someone and they got amnesia.
Yeah.
And you still have that fondness. And like for them, even on their end, they're like, I think I know you, but they don't know why. That's the kind of feeling you're getting.
Alright. I'm going to back up and give him the honorable combat. And I'll also have Malrith do the same.
Okay. So you guys back up. Now it's his turn again.
Oh, yeah.
Now, so Danielle.
I want Dragon to win.
His own breath attack. It's going to be a wisdom saving throw.
Zephyr in this position's like, I don't care who wins, because it doesn't matter.
That is a success. So it does not set a condition. Damage.
Tiku wins. Dragon to win.
Funnily enough, this is actually going to be it's determined.
It's RNG.
I wrote two different endings for this.
I like him. He has an orange mustache.
Is that your whole basis for liking him? Is that he has an orange mustache?
And he likes protecting babies or children. Yeah.
But not cool.
Whole basis.
Okay. As for this, you would watch as it had gored, as its neck kind of starts to give, almost like it looks like he's collapsing, but in response to collapsing, its breath just kind of all around this human, again, presumably Orlevel. For the sake of this, I'm just going to call him Orlevel. Orlevel kind of...
Old wizard dude.
Oh, haven't felt that in a while. As you watch as that same breath, it very clearly seems to eat away at his skin. You watch his blood, like it's almost like scabs form on the side of his face, almost like burns. Not, and they look fresh enough that like blood starts to trickle down the sides of his face. As for context, it did 97 points of damage, but he succeeded, so it got halved. Okay. With that will again go. Unless you guys tell me you do something, these two are effectively going to be having it out.
Just tell me if.
So technically, this would be you two.
Dragnir
next.
looks like he's really losing. Then Tiku might get involved.
I think it's Dragnir.
Dragnir?
Not Dragnir.
Dragnir.
Dagniel.
Dagniel.
Yeah.
Let's just call it Dragniel. It's a lot easier.
Dagniel.
There you go. You got it that time.
I got it.
Dagniel.
Okay, so Tiku, I have this new food idea. Boom kernels. So you grab corn and you heat it up. And it creates some snack food that would be perfect for this situation.
Okay, with that,
Are you done with my
Gurgle or
potion?
Clay, do either of you guys want to do anything? It's technically, it would be your turn. Are you
Except
guys
for-
continuing to kind of watch?
But what if Doggy starts using?
So give me a sec. I just need to. Do you guys want me to just continue through this until you guys decide what you're doing, or would you like the opportunity to act?
I would drink the charge.
If we
I still don't know what to do.
like, if we say
So if you guys want to wait, like again, it's going. I just want to give you the opportunity to act as these two things fight.
I guess we could all like hold an action collectively, if we wanted.
I would like to hold my action until I can determine
Okay.
who's going to be.
So effectively, for
all
the
of us
sake of this,
are just watching. Yeah.
for the sake of this,
For a minute.
they effectively just start to fight. And so as far as how this would look to you guys, I'm going to do it a little bit more narrative for how this is going to go, and then I'm going to roll for it. Dagniel does not seem to have any magical capabilities. Most of his attacks seem based around whatever this breath is, as well as goring, using his tail. At one point, he would even try and tackle using the spikes on his fur, as well as his back, almost like a weapon. Like think like a linebacker just trying to kill someone with like spiked armor is effectively what the interpretation you'd get. Whereas this human or Lavelle seems to be entirely a spellcaster in nature, and most of his magic would give you the impression of necromantic, as the first one seemed to almost like weaken and atrophy as he uses his spells. The damage that Dagniel would receive, what have you done to me? Dagniel would receive would be a lot more of, it almost seems like he's aging or he's decaying for how the spells would go.
I feel like Kiku is outwardly saying calling out to like watch out for this, watch out for that the whole time to for Dagniel.
Dude, wait, you could do know your enemy on the other dude
and then,
to help
Zephyr's
tutor.
like, shh. It's like, stop helping.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I could use no.
So for the sake of this, because I thought that this might happen,
but
I
I want
actually
to.
did do the rolls for this preemptively for how this fight would go if you guys chose not to act. It is clear that Dagniel is getting destroyed. Despite this Orlavel's skin again almost seeming to like burn with the different breath attacks, and as he's impaled, he definitely reacts, and you can tell that he's being damaged, but there's no kind of, for example, like the grunt you'd have when you get hit by something impactful. He doesn't seem to react, and as the combat goes on, you notice that like his skin almost seems to be healing. The burns on his face, like one might say, by about like the third turn, would be healed.
Sorry, real quick. Gurgle, do you have detect thoughts?
I was interested, but I swapped it out last level.
Nice. Climb up on some of those rocks out of the sand.
It's really nice right now.
Oh wait, no, I actually do have detect thoughts. I didn't swap it out last level.
You want to see what they're thinking while they're fighting?
Yeah, think what they're thinking.
We just have a conversation amongst ourselves.
Do you see my Discord message?
Oh, that's what I was trying to do.
Razu, as he's drinking the potion, seeing him healing.
Hey, that's cheating.
Okay, and then so you're casting detect thoughts.
Yeah, I guess
What is
so.
the saving throw?
I think he just gets surface thoughts for free.
Thoughts, and then he can go.
Oh, and then you
further.
dive deeper,
Yeah.
and that's the.
That's
the my Discord
And also, if you dive
loading
deeper, they will know even
And
if
it
they
can also
fail.
detect
Were you
all
answering
living
me?
and thinking creatures.
I was saying
within
that my
30 feet.
Discord's updated.
I assume that they know what a cast of a spell looks like, though. So
I mean, it's very obvious to tell when someone's casting magic.
But we're also being very casual about this whole thing. We're like,
I also don't think he even gives a shit.
Okay, so as you proffer up Clay to get both a better visual as well as get away from the sand, whatever's in there. Don't really want to deal with that. For you, Gurgle, as you cast detect thoughts throughout this, the thoughts going through Dagniel's head, and for what it's worth, he's actually voicing a lot of them, as it would be the biggest one would be almost like a reoccurring you get the feeling of confusion met with him both uttering and even thinking it more often of just, traitor, how do you stand against the king? Kind of going a little bit past that, as you would still get like the surface levels, is faction. Oh, Bahamut, they mentioned. Tiamat, Drashan. Just almost, he seems to just start to list. He lists more names as well, but he almost just starts to list names of like, where does this individual's allegiance lie? The surface levels thoughts of him is, for a guardian of something so important, I thought he'd be stronger. And then as he gets hit, one of the times he gets hit, he goes, should I take this as a compliment? Have I really ascended that far already? But still, so far to go. And he almost seems, like the impression you get, Dagniel is thinking of like the ramifications of this traitor. How could this affect the war? Orlevel is thinking about his grocery list. He's like,
what else should I have?
He's like, after I do this,
when does that
I still have to
bargain
meet
get over?
those two.
I use at one point. I use Mage Hand and I tie his shoelaces together stealthily while they're fighting.
Yes, girls will help me with the shoelaces.
Make a sleight of hand check.
I cannot roll less than a 30 if it matters.
You have a plus 20.
But don't we want Dagniel to lose so the
I
dragon?
will roll for you though, just for kicks and giggles.
To be honest, I think this fight's being
Randomly, when
33.
Inconsequential.
yeah, that.
Okay, so
Help
It doesn't
Dragneel.
matter. It's in the past.
So bad.
you are able to tie his shoelaces together. However, he
But I'm
does
pretty sure I'm
indeed
supposed to eat
float.
him.
So it would not matter.
How the great
As-
Orvel was slain by tied shoes.
as what would actually be a long-standing combat, to kind of give you an example, Orlevel average
at one
damage.
point-
Let me actually pull up the log that I effectively made of this. So Orlevel's average damage per turn is about 47, and this would be about a 2-minute fight, effectively, that you guys would be watching.
I'm like messaging Zephyr while they're going. I'm like, he's thinking this. I mean, he's just thinking about going out to eat, man. Like, I don't know what to say. One of them's stressed out. One of them's just ready to go get some
figure out what he'd like?
steak.
Can you figure out what he'd like so Tiku can start cooking for him?
With that, Tiku, you said you wanted to know, as it starts to get close, it gets closer to the end of this, to the point that Dagniel looks extremely hurt it looks like on the edge of death. To the point as well, with the way this weakening magic has worked, he almost can't even fight anymore. This isn't like a creature on his last legs that kind of goes almost like on a rampage before it dies. It seems that both the muscular structure of Dagniel, as well as the energy that he has faded to the point that even when he gores, what would be close to a blinding motion at the beginning of the fight is now almost like a... You can hear the struggle behind him as he gores. Eventually kind of drops down, no longer actually being able to stand on his legs, as Orlevel walks over to him, places his hand on the horn.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
No.
1 minute. Go ahead.
Now that's been settled.
Wait, so you want me to?
What was this all about?
I'm messaging before it finishes. I message him. I'm like, so you want me to go deeper in his brain? Is that what you're asking me to do?
So just so you know,
I'm just talking.
Quick
to him
note
now.
that you would 100% know. If you delve into a person's brain and they are a magic caster, they will know. And most people take it as a hostile action.
It's not even. It's not even.
Yeah.
It's not even a magic caster. It's just
anyone knows.
Just anybody knows.
Good. Fair.
He's just letting you know.
I'm just letting you know that 100%.
You'll be
If you
attacking
do
him.
that, he would take that as a hostile action. Do with that what you will, but that is how people would
privacy.
respond to that. Do you elect to do it before he answers Zephyr?
Did you want me to check deeper?
Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm just trying to get information out of them.
You wouldn't mind telling us what you're doing, would you?
Hang on.
As you kind of echo what he said, what's that about? Well, it's about this. And he snaps the horn off of Dagniel. As Dagniel, in what appears, this isn't like he seems to die, but the pain that goes across his face is he's just, and it almost sounds like he's gurgling, but not on blood. It's like he can't breathe. He's somehow drowning, and he's and collapses to the ground as he even holds the horn. He goes, "This is all I wanted. Assuming that you have no business with me, I will be on my way."
We do have a little business with you.
Of course you do. As he and the horn seems to disappear. Not in a way that you don't understand. He seems to put it into a similar to your pocket dimension. He seems to almost like push it into something.
I think he loves you in like a business relationship in the future.
He does seem to have some kind of profound respect. You're a smart one. I apologize that I don't know you.
You will meet me in the future.
So
I look forward to it. What's your name?
Cain, granted to me by you.
I will look for one worthy. As he takes his hand and he carves, as you watch his nail on his middle finger, seems to almost like sharpen to a point, and he actually carves it into his hand. And at this point, you actually recall, you've seen Orlevel, and Orlevel has scars on his hand and his forearm. You never really paid that much attention to it, but in this moment, as he carves it, you also notice there's another one. Name of one of your siblings that seems to be carved in his hand. As he carves the name Cain into his hand, and blood actually trickles down for a moment. But unlike the burns that seem to almost just heal throughout the fight, he seems to leave it bleeding. And as he kind of holds down, you watch as the blood almost seems to pool in his hand for a moment. He goes, "Wonderful. I look forward to meeting you." Now, what was your question?
So, what's the horn all about?
A necessary step. The
For
dragons
what?
are making a fatal error. The world won't advance as the way that they think it will. It's all right. I can guide it to a new horizon.
So, and you are a traitor of some sort to these dragons?
Pick your dragons. Traitor to some, ally to others, hero to most. People like yourself, I am sure, will revere and worship me in times to come for what I choose to do in these days.
He's not incorrect.
I doubt people like me.
I don't even know
I meant
you.
your species.
I don't even know you, and I'm from the future.
Tiku's running up to Dragneel and gonna do something while they're chatting, but we'll let you guys do your conversation
As
first.
you run up to Dragneel, while defeated, he is still conscious. He is very clearly in extreme pain. And like, as he can hardly move, he's almost like trying to pick his head up just enough to look at Orlevel. And you've seen this kind of look before, this disdain, this kind of almost like hatred to someone's expression. He has that for him, but he seems almost weakened to the point that he can't talk. He's even getting up a little bit closer to him. You're quickly able to see that like even his tongue just kind of like loosely hangs out the side of his mouth, and yet it's like he doesn't seem to even have the strength to pick his tongue back up into his mouth. As again, whatever this magic is, seemed to do less damage to him, to his almost. And in fact, I would even say you get this interpretation. It's like his soul has been worn down to a point.
So,
one sec.
As I see Tiku approaching Dagniel, I'm gonna get ready to cover her. I'm gonna hold my reaction to shoot the golden boy if he takes any hostile actions towards Tiku.
He's like,
okay. So you draw your crossbow. He notices, doesn't seem perturbed by it. And if he takes hostile action, you'll definitely get a shot off on him.
Did Orlevel ever tell me Bahamut's original name?
He did not.
So, just to clear something up that I think I understand, the friend that we met in the games, did we not later figure out that was Orlavale?
You guys had suspicion. You guys have not run into friend again since the games.
I would then ask,
Do you either sometimes portray the image of a Yeti-like creature with very sharp claws, or ever thought about doing it?
Not till this moment.
He's pushing.
I portray what I need to. One might even say I can become whatever I like. As you watch as his features change, a beak proffers from his face, and you're greeted by yourself, scythe and all.
Does the scythe work too? Can you blood write your weapon?
You want to find out? As looking at yourself and hearing that voice is immediately like, wrong.
okay, because my weapon's always blood righted, I look at his as his.
It is not blood righted.
A word of warning, if you would. There is a traitor to dragons. He becomes what you are trying to achieve. Beats you to it, as it were.
Beats me? From my position? Fascinating.
Help.
And do you know his name?
I do not. You've not told me. Perhaps on purpose.
Unfortunate. That could make things easy. I'm in quite a good position currently. Good to know. Perhaps can still be avoided.
So, were you trying to teach this creature a lesson?
Looks down to him.
So you seem to have dragged that out longer than you needed to.
A show. It is important for those under you to understand what you can do. And as he holds his hand up to the sky, it almost seems to like crack. You watch as for a large section, the sky just kind of almost like someone just hit a mirror with a rock, and it kind of and almost like seems to break apart. The flakes that fall are almost like little pieces of that twilight, that sunlight, as what is an illusion kind of like shatters and breaks, and you see a host of dragons. As you like quick start counting, to you, Tiku, this would be extremely daunting. As you see,
Tiku crawls underneath the stone dragon's head.
You see wormlings, you see adult dragons, you see even some that maybe are borderline on the size of ancient dragons. Some dragons, one of the dragons that's flying in the sky, specifically for what it's worth, a blue dragon. One of the blue dragons in the sky, impossibly large, like twice the size of a colossal creature. It is a monstrosity in the sky with like easily like a 200, 300 foot wingspan. As they all fly and that illusion shatters, and he says, simply a demonstration.
I could do that.
I'm sure you could, Frog. I'm sure you could. Now, any other questions for me? I have no hostile intent towards you, and it seems you're amongst friends.
So, if you were to not tell someone your name yet, but you're like friendly with them, what would you tell them to call you?
A friend, of course. I am a friend to all, as I said, to your kind.
Interesting. Have you ever worked with Asmodeus?
We're in the
must
past,
not
Razu.
know the workings of what we're at war.
We've been underground. We literally just came from under a rock. If you could give us an update, that'd be great.
Actually, you know the time dragon that this rhino guy's been talking about. I think we've met him, actually.
As you start to talk, you especially, Tiku, immediately can hear like an exasperated and exaggerated like Dagnale's almost like trying to interrupt Gurgle, and it like gets more intense. almost like starts to pick up his head and then collapse under the strength. And he says,
I'm gonna.
Wait. As he says that, you say the time dragon. He says, this time dragon you speak of? Who is this?
We don't know his name. He just looks at us and he talks to himself.
Different eyeballs?
Okay, so
that one?
One at a time. Tiku gets to decide what she wants to do first.
Sorry. We do have Detect Thoughts running.
It's only a minute. That was 2-minute fight.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That was a 2-minute fight. That's also why I needed to know if he
Yeah,
actually delved deeper.
Okay.
100%. He would have just, that would have been new initiative.
For some reason, I was thinking Detect Thoughts was 10 minutes.
No, magic is 10 minutes.
Okay.
So Tiku, you're the first one who gets to respond. He asked him for his name. He says he doesn't know.
Oh, I was saying like when I went up to him, and I just want to stick my hand on his head, and put my forehead to his head, and try to just listen to what his soul was like. Listen to him.
Make a survival check. This is going to be extremely difficult.
I just want to like.
One might say nearly impossible.
Feel what he's.
Is that a DC 30?
Yes, that is a DC 30.
I want an insight.
Feel if his soul is dying or anything.
Okay.
I want to insight Dagnil when he did that. Was he? I assume he was trying to stop.
So you didn't notice it. The only reason I even let Tiku notice it is because she's literally hiding under his throat. She said she hides under his head.
Not even with the passive 20.
Nope. Again, this is
Fair
he has so little energy that like effectively it's not even necessarily that Tiku's hearing the noise. It's like almost the exaggerated vibrations from his throat trying to make sound. So yeah, unfortunately in this case that is not something you would notice. That action specifically, Tiku would have been the only one to
I will
notice.
say,
We did receive his name. Markio.
Ah, I see. That makes sense, actually. He will be a great hand. Perhaps even one of my children.
I assume he'd notice. My grin would have widened just ever so slightly at that.
He shares your smile. He says, we're going to have a long, fruitful relationship.
I'm only friend to the flame, so
I only rolled 3, but it was enough.
I don't even know how a person gets adopted into being a dragon, but
I don't know either why he chose me.
by the way, I don't know if you picked up on this, but you're a vision of the past. You're not actually real.
I don't think that's something I would say to somebody from the past.
He kind of holds his hand out and says, do you want to test that?
Gurgle, he is real. We just had a discussion about this.
Well, it's real, but it's not actually real, right?
No, he is.
Can you pinch him for me?
These events have already happened.
Give him a good pinch.
Gurgle, you die? That means you
What's your
died
intelligence,
back then.
Paul?
Let's see how real I am. As I believe this is a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, I'm not good at this.
You are next to Clay.
Are you?
Yeah, we're hanging out.
Is the wisdom saving throw?
Gurgle's over there?
Actually, no. Clay is up on
Oh
the
yeah,
wall.
never mind. Clay,
They're so far away.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm hanging out.
Clay was over. I thought
Is
we
a
were
wisdom
on
saving throw that I don't
to
think
avoid
you can
the
pass.
Collateral damage.
The DC is a 26.
Gurgle went right up next to him.
During the fight?
Uh-huh. He was provoking opportunity attacks.
Bro, I was like in his face.
I'm thinking. I'm looking at what
No,
your
I cannot
thoughts are.
pass it.
I have to be real close to do this.
I can only possibly roll a 22.
So yeah, this would be an unsucceedable check for you. So I need
With guidance.
2 times 9.
We'll roll it. We'll roll it just in
18.
case.
Plus 8.
26.
There's only a
Is this
12 anyway.
damage? I thought he was just gonna like dominate person or something.
Okay, so wait, is he casting a spell?
Yes.
Is it a harmful spell or is it like dominate person?
He said. Let's see. You
Let's
want to
see how real I am.
Yeah, you want to see how real I am.
I mean, I'm instinctually casting counterspell on this just to try to preserve Gurgle. He can make
a natural 20.
Okay, that's fine.
As
that's
you attempt to counterspell,
I will say I just wouldn't let it go through.
As you attempt to counterspell it, would.
Wait, aren't you supposed to make the saving throw?
No,
Nope.
it's a Constitution.
It's a con save now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
And it's
against the target who's doing it.
The target, yeah. That's trying to
always
make
how
the
saving
spell
throws
go
work.
through.
Oh, wait, I have to do this.
It's his DC though, or no, it's a spell DC.
It is also
against
60
DC.
feet?
Yeah, I just remember
Counterspell 60 feet?
forgetting the old counterspell. You
think
roll
so.
higher
Yeah.
than the spell
Okay,
level.
128. Is that above your max HP?
It's not above my max.
Or, sorry, is your current HP?
It is above my current HP.
Okay, so you guys would watch as he says, "Let's see how real I am," and Gurgle just kind of and just falls to the ground as you are sleeping.
Did you just cast sleep at like the 9th level?
Of course. Are there any other?
He's not trying to kill him.
Oh, we're among friends. I said that.
Did
The
you-
rest of you, as he waves his hand, the dragons in the sky, just kind of, some of them almost like nodding their head. Some of them still like high strung, heads held high, but just turn, and they all start to fly in multiple different directions. Some seem to fly towards the Shadowcrest Peaks, which would be in the direction, that would be in the direction of Stilmakar, eventually going to the Crystal Eye. Some of them fly towards Lone Peak, maybe even going to Yuldabar, farther in the distance. But effectively, they start to scatter to the winds, mostly heading in on the north side. As they all start to fly away. Any other questions? Anything else I can help with?
I have
Oh, go ahead.
couple-
Go ahead. You can have your question, Kane.
Is there anything you would like me to relate to your current self?
The problem is, I feel as if you are telling the truth, or the sleeping. I was going to call him a toad, but he seems to be more of a frog. Oh, by the way, as he snaps his fingers, you would wake back up, Gurgle. This is.
Wake up, fishy!
I'm not a fish, I'm a frog.
There's unfortunately nothing I can think of at the moment. If what you say is true, I am likely the one holding information from you.
Is there something...
Actually, yes, there is. Relay to me that we've met now, in the past, that this event happened. If you're correct, and perhaps these events still unfold, that will at least give me a gauge for where you are, or where we are.
That would have to mean that we get out of this timey-wimey cave.
Is there anything you want
As he
to
holds
know?
up his hand, he says, "Haven't you already?"
No, we're not out. This is not the real world. This is not the real world.
I think he's not convinced yet.
Can I have his horn?
Oh, he made it disappear already.
Oh, did he?
So that actually seemed to be his main objective.
I thought he was just holding it.
No. So when he grabbed the horn and then he said that he had some questions for him, he made it vanish.
He also, when I asked, he said he was here for the horn.
Wow.
So this is during the Dragon Wars, which means it's a millennia, at least.
Is that what it's called? That seems entirely too boring for something of this scale.
So, real quick. Okay, this is going to be like a long talk. I don't know if you're trying to do this. Can you recap what's currently happened, and I can compare it to based off what I know about it?
Can I make a quick question that probably won't take as much time?
Oh, I was like, I don't think he's actually going to tell me this, but
Probably.
Is there any bank in this time that will be around in our time that gives compound interest?
Sure, give all your gold to me. I'll keep it safe.
So I hear your words, and I'm not saying that you are a distrustful individual, but to me, I feel that my return on this investment will not be as I would envision it to be.
have you ever met Orvel?
Have I been nothing but forthright with all of you? Why would I lie now?
So you do have compounding interest?
Of course.
Tiku doesn't believe a word of this man is saying.
Guys,
He's sketchy as
Guys,
fuck.
this is a free money hack.
Well, I'm saying this because
He actually all doesn't say. Of course it is.
from what I know,
I don't have any money. He has the money.
I'm just going to insight check this guy. Just
from what
for
I
the
know
heck of it.
about dragons, they're very keen on getting the gold, but
I don't
very, very hesitant on giving it away.
Apart from the fact that you yourself are like, this guy's interesting, it seems entirely truthful.
So how about this?
Tiku's
I
passive insight
have
is
on my
17.
person a number of gold coins and platinum coins that I can give to you as an offering in return for a favor.
What's the favor?
Yes, take our future inflated money.
To be fair, it's probably fucking expensive.
I have a number of businesses in the future.
That would be like
And
a
these
2024.
businesses can greatly benefit from perhaps cast off old dragon scales.
How much you got?
I have currently 70 platinum and 31 gold pieces.
Holy shit. He's loaded.
Wait a second, that's loaded.
Secondly, just you're a wine merchant, right?
Yes.
Leave some of your wine here with them.
Oh, would you like to some of my fine Marlowe?
Just let it
As you
age.
pull it out, he says, I would love some.
Here, your dragon, take 3.
Just let it age here.
You hand him the first bottle. And he almost, without even uncorking it, as he kind of like smells near the top of it, he goes, a fine beverage. And in a similar fashion to the horn, he kind of seems to almost like put it away, takes each of them in turn and puts them away. And he says,
And to try to prove a point, can you keep one of those for when we ever meet you again?
I was actually about to do something along those lines for an experiment.
I'm going to transform back into my human form, pulling out a gold coin, and I will proffer to him.
Could you hold on to this for me?
he takes it, and then he immediately punctures it, just putting a hole just entirely through it.
This is a coin specifically from Orlavel's hoard. So.
As he takes the coin and he punctures it, he like completely presses his finger through it, and then effectively turns it into a kind of a crude ring around his finger before he kind of just moves his hands over it. And as he moves it, it's now seems to be a gorgeous golden ring around his hand. He goes, I'll keep it on hand. Now I believe payment is due.
I'll give him all that. Oh, and
Give all of it?
and to sweeten the deal, I will also throw in this arrow catching shield.
He smiles as he takes everything. He says,
Okay.
I put all the gold in the shield.
I gotta ask. Do you think he's getting anything back?
So, if he goes to Orlavel again, he will. He just has to get to Orlavel.
as he takes your offering, he says,
Well, as I have the shield, I'm like, and these scales can be delivered?
of course.
Will they be delivered?
Yes.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
As he takes your offering,
He
and then
did
at this
not
point, this
tell
is where I'm
you
going to say
when.
you proffered your question. He says,
Do we even know if this guy is Orlavel?
No, don't.
You've never actually
Wait a
gotten
second.
confirmation.
But the thing
We've
is,
been under the impression this whole time that this guy likes this guy because he's Orlavel, but we never even asked your name.
No, he did not. An oversight on your part.
I mean, it's oversight on their part. I didn't give you any money.
I don't have any money.
I mean, after
I
you
just
stuff
tied
the
your
beans, it
shoelaces
doesn't matter
together
who
and
you
you didn't
are.
notice.
Play Beakman's a baby. All of a sudden, the cows and sheep are all bawling outside. Big thing. Parents walk out. There's just a pile of scales.
At this point, as you ask him basically the current status of these Dragon Wars, he again echoes, he says, I don't like the name Dragon Wars, but sure, I can regale you. And that is where we're actually going to go to break. We will be back here in just a few minutes.
Tiku's check happened, but we will go do that.
Yes,
also.
we will do Tiku's check. But for now, we will be back in just a few minutes. See you in a second.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're just gonna go right back into the conversation as he
was inspired.
Oh yes,
Gurgle.
I knew I was missing something. You literally even said it right beforehand.
Gurgle.
Gurgle is inspired.
It's almost as if I do that for a reason.
You think, because I remembered, and you were like, "It's Gurgle," and I was like, "Yeah, I saw it." We're doing great. Gurgle is inspired. With that, Zephyr, as you asked him what the current status of the Dragon's Wars is, his response to you is, well, one could say starting. The gods recently declared dominion over the lands, you should say, perhaps even world, planet, perhaps even further. But we dragons have ruled this land for far too long to hand it all over to some gods. So with that, our king, in his folly, is not fighting this war with the proper vigor. Because of that, land is being ravaged. Our dominion destroyed. He gestures to Lone Peak and he says, our strongholds defiled. And, just based on that, we've decided that we must take a new direction. Our current king will not... we won't win this fight with him at the helm. So to answer your question, I don't know how long these wars last, as it seems you do. However, we are still in the early stages. We are maybe only in the... how long has it been? Maybe the 200th year.
Early stages. And because we haven't heard the king, right? Like who the king is.
We have.
No, you got the king's name.
Okay.
In fact, he told him.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Mercule.
That's right. Okay. Does this match based off history books generally?
So the Dragon Wars actually aren't really recorded in history books.
Are they not? Oh.
No, so the reason you guys know of the Dragon War is because when you guys interacted with the Primordial Prison, specifically Cain, as he was looking for the history of dragons, and he looked into the history of Orlevale, and Tiku as well, yes. They saw what was called the Dragon Wars, and then Rudar's basically confirmed a little bit about it. It seemed that he had some knowledge, but he was cryptic at best on what he would give you concerning the Dragon Wars. But the Dragon Wars is not something that's recorded in any history books. The first time you guys heard of the Dragon Wars was when you interacted with the Fire Primordial's prison.
Okay. Do we know how long ago it was?
Over a millennia.
A long ass time ago.
It was over 1,000 years is the way that I had stated it.
Which means he probably means 200 of the previous era.
Uh-huh. So, the Dragon Wars occurred before the current Pantheon.
Yeah, so it'd be before all those eras.
Yeah.
Oh, before all the god eras.
So in real quick recap, Pantheon and Tiamat ascended as part of the Dragon Wars, and what you had discovered is that yes, sorry, did I say Pantheon? Bahamut and Tiamat betrayed the dragons in the Dragon Wars to gain their seats amongst the current Pantheon that right now is the gods of the world.
Correct.
You know, to be honest, I kind of admire that. It's like Cutthroat. Got to get on top, climb that corporate ladder.
Remind me. I could look at my notes, but I have stuff up.
Just ask.
Bane, not Bane.
We are currently in the era of Bane.
The Bane is the current era.
712 Tempora Bane.
Yeesh.
And I was giving a guesstimate that the other gods existed around 300 years before Bane. So I was saying a millennia is a rough estimate for when the Dragon Wars ended.
Maybe, but all the unless all the gods came in at
the exact same time
at different points.
The only god that's really known when he ascended is Bane, and it's just because the year is tracking.
Right, but I'm saying the year reset every time a new ascension happened.
Correct.
Yeah,
Could
so
be
it could be a long ass time
10
ago.
or 100,000 years ago.
Yeah. No way to truly tell, other than the fact that again, the Dragon Wars specifically ended around 1,000 1,000+ years ago from what Kane had seen when you guys looked through. I almost called it the primordial matrix. I don't know why. when you guys interacted with the primordial prison. So with that being the case, that is the information you have surrounding the Dragon Wars, and he just told you we're in the early stages. We're only in around the 200th year.
And your goal is to get your king to... Because, I think here... You're aligned with the gods.
No.
Well...
Dragons rule now and forever. At least we should. Now talking to you, it seems... Maybe despite my best efforts. Hopefully it can be changed. Maybe not for a time. But dragons must once again rule the world. Gods have no place.
If at first you don't succeed, try again, right?
That is currently our objective.
Our objective? I mean, yes, our objective.
That is what Zephyr plans.
So you say you're not a friend, but it seems that you have the same goal. Gods have long since been undeserving of the power to rule the world.
I have no stake in your war amongst the gods. I just have my own problems to resolve. Our problems just happen to align at the moment, or at least our solutions.
Be that as it may, it seems that you will be helpful. And again, if you inform me of this meeting in the future,
I plan on it.
In your future, assuming I'm not able to change it, perhaps I could lend you a hand. I can't imagine you're... He looks at you, and as he kind of like looks about all of you, you get the sense of almost like unimpressed. As he says, I doubt you're currently capable of even killing the fledgling gods we contend with now.
Only one way to find out.
Yes.
Well, perhaps.
What? Seek me out. Deals to be fulfilled. Help to be granted. I'm no friend to the gods. Not now, not then, not ever.
Perhaps it's presumptuous of me to ask, but could we get some of that help now? We are in a little bit of a deadly location. The Crystal Veins, if you've heard of it.
I think it's where you guys trap your king in.
Planting ideas.
A prison?
A prison in development to trap the ancient dragon of time, from what I'm hearing. You also trap the guardian with many colors of eyes and different personalities.
As he gets a broad smile across his face. And he goes, I see. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Me?
Why do we always tell all the bad guys our whole freaking life, man?
This is another spell, Zephyr, if you care.
I assume it's detect
We're like Naruto.
This is detect thoughts. He is using on.
We just keep going, Kayla. We just keep going until we convert the bad guy into a good guy.
Do I counterspell to check? Okay, what did he ask something? Hang on.
No, he said you guys made a.
You imprisoned the Time King, basically, and the Guardian.
This is where you imprison your king and the Guardian, and he's talking about the crystal veins.
Noticing him do that, can I cast Gift of Gab?
Yeah, I already know what the spell is.
It's a reaction.
Obviously.
Oh yeah, you know what it is. He's trying to read his mind.
You can after whatever happens.
Yes.
I just like respond to him like
You can't use it as a reaction.
it's probably better
Casting one
because he says
reaction.
lots of stupid things.
Ooh,
just
it
feel
is
free
a
to read his
When
mind.
you're speak to another creature,
But try to stay out of the rest of ours.
effectively, I can change what I've said and what he remembers. There is no
You
save.
have to cast Gift of Gab, then talk.
No.
It's
One reaction which you take when you speak.
Don't talk over. Just let him read it. Just let him read it.
One reaction which you take when you speak to another creature.
So I would
Duration
say,
instantaneous.
I would say yes, you can, but his spell would still go off first. Like you can't like interrupt his spell.
Actually, I feel like he could revert him even wanting to cast the spell.
That would be what is.
Well, yeah, but he
The
already
answer is
cast
seeing
the
him
spell.
reacting to what I said.
Yeah. He could react to the spell before it's
Cast
cast.
Gift of Gab, and change. Effectively, how this works is I change what he heard me say to me casting this spell. He hears me cast this spell,
Wait,
so he
what?
knows I casted it.
No, wait.
If he knows what it is, effectively.
No, he sees you casting a spell, but he won't know.
He could also counterspell your Gift of Gab before
Yeah,
it
he could
goes off.
counterspell your Gift of Gab, but he couldn't like after
It's
it's,
an
cast.
illusion.
After it's cast, he
Is this
can't
in?
stop it.
Is this in the book?
Yeah. It's
Oh, it's a new spell. It's
No,
kind of
it's
weird.
not new. It's fairly.
technically
It's been around for a bit.
But it doesn't.
an illusion.
It doesn't have a.
Or charm. Maybe charm.
It doesn't have a saving throw.
No, it's basic. Well, you can stop it. You can counterspell it, right?
I mean, it's a second level saw and just changes something
Because-
that you said for in the last 6 seconds.
It's from Acquisitions Incorporated, whatever that book is.
Each creature which shorter than 5 seconds
Which apparently
forgets
is from
everything you said in the
Jim
last 6 seconds. Those creatures then remember that you actually said the words you speak
For the spell.
Yeah.
as the
Within the last 6
verbal
seconds.
component of the spell. I mean, yeah, you could use it.
I just wasn't sure if he could interrupt a spell.
I could say that he would still cast Detect Thoughts, but he might not be like, why did I cast Detect Thoughts?
Well, it would just be going. Like he might not even.
Who's all
remember
under the
casting
effect?
I mean, isn't that everyone?
it. I think
No,
it's
he
everyone.
gets to pick.
Oh, does it choose?
Okay.
I would
does
say.
say-
No,
5
who
feet.
all is part of it?
It does
I would say
within 5
I would
feet.
affect.
5 feet, so anyone not near him can't do it.
And Roz is currently here on the rock. So Kane.
Has to be within 5 feet of you. You are not within 5 feet of talking to him. You actually wouldn't be able to do that then. That is actually a very important thing.
If
You
you're
have to be
having-
next to somebody.
If you were having a one-on-one conversation with him, you would probably be within 5 feet. But this is a group conversation where everyone's like spread out.
That is an important part of it.
I'm assuming we'd all be talking in a circlish formation. Can I roll a however many people to see if?
So
I'm
for the
next
sake
to
of this,
him?
what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you do it, and then for the future, if you
Be
want to
close.
use that, you need to be close. That's how we're going to do it. So, I agree. He would cast Detect Thoughts, and then you would use that, which means that he would hear this basically the verbal component of your spell, and just kind of confused for a moment. Just make. Okay, so what check am I gonna do to have you do to see if you can think about things that are not what he was looking for?
History.
To block? To think about other stuff?
It
I
would
mean,
definitely
first
be an
make your wisdom
intellect
saving throw.
check.
It is still a DC 26. It is his
performance.
casting modifier.
I cannot succeed.
Okay, so his detect thoughts
Blocking
would go
mental
off.
Images would not be intellect-based.
You learn what is
Yeah.
most on the target's mind
I could
right
see-
now.
Yeah.
I would definitely say it's a history check.
For what?
All to see if he can hide the thoughts that he was, because
Or
he's
an
using it to
arcana.
read his mind about the prison, and despite the fact that he's used a spell, that would still be front of mind.
Yeah.
So how quickly can you change your
Investigation?
thoughts in response to that to make so that he's looking for something else? So go ahead and make a history check, and then tell me what Razu would be thinking about.
Base check.
History.
I would do
Maybe a
Kenku
history.
Recall.
Do you still have Kanker recalls? We've gone through like 3 separate combats.
He's got 5 of them.
I've got current equal to my proficiency bonus. I've gone 3. I just used my 4th one.
Cool. I just make sure you're tracking it.
He has quite a few.
What'd you
There's
get?
one more, yeah.
Okay.
This is going to go against his passive insight, by the way, which is a 19.
I beat that. It's
Damn,
23.
Damn, he's got a good insight. Like,
23?
I mean, my
what do you think
good
about
history.
20, so.
I am currently thinking about the current
damn again.
things that Squawk has made, amalgamations, and how they might be possible to make.
Okay, so as he casts detect,
He's experimenting in his head.
as he casts detect thoughts on you, and he hears you do the spell, he goes, Are you designing? He stops.
Sorry, are you what?
Designing, he said.
He's perturbed by the fact that you're not paying attention to the conversation, is what you just did, which does have its own adverse effect. And he goes, well...
What just happened?
I mean, he cast some kind of spell, and he's designing blueprints? He's experimenting. I think he's remembering chopping up kobolds. With that being the case, is there anything else each of you had for me? Or any of you?
I suppose you haven't answered my question, either in the negative or the positive.
That is because I forgot.
Could we get some of that assistance now, as we're in the crystal veins?
I am unfamiliar with the crystal veins.
Ooh, deception. I like that better.
Deception would have been better.
Deception would have been
in the future, if I ever do that again,
well,
because
an
he has
intellect
it.
deception check, because it's in your brain. Just do deception, but it's intellect based instead of
If you're
charisma-based.
proficient, you still get proficiency.
Yeah, if you're
bonus,
proficient,
but
you
use
still
your
get
mod.
proficiency, but like it's based in intellect instead of.
That's what I'm gonna do moving forward. That said, for now,
Kudos at.
It's a
Jasmine for that.
place filled with the most horrifying creatures you can imagine.
Sounds fun.
Props to him. Or I guess his father.
Well, assuming you do come from the future, it seems that whatever you are referring to, it's not around at this time.
Technically, I'm pretty sure we're still in it.
Well, unfortunately, as I'm unfamiliar, I don't believe I can assist you in exiting. But you're welcome to accompany me to Lone Peak, should you wish.
I would love to.
What's going on at Lone Peak?
Let's call it a celebration.
Don't tell me it's a dinner.
No.
I really want to talk.
There likely will be a dinner.
I really want to talk, but I realize I'm still under a head.
So you can talk. You're under the head, and so just so you know, I have not forgot about the check of you trying to read him.
That's going to be going on.
With how
during
difficult
this.
it is, I'm effectively making it take longer. You succeeded, and you're getting an idea of it. Like at this point, what I would say is you're more so getting emotions. One thing I will tell you for sure is his soul is fading. Whatever Orlevel did, his soul is fading to a point that it will almost like a flame. It's gonna go, and then it's gonna flicker out. And when it flickers out, gone. With that being the case, the feeling that you have is, again, you still get like a strong sense of betrayal. I would say that you're able to tell that this creature, so Dagniel, viewed Orlevel as an ally, and he not only feels traitored like you traitored the cause, but he seems to know him.
Like a friend betrayal?
No. Yeah. It'd be more of like a very like close comrade in arms, not someone you drink with, but someone that like if you went to battle, you'd have him at your back and you trust him.
An ally
keep
betrayal.
it. Apart from that, another really apparent one, excruciating pain. When he ripped his horn off, it not only seems that that'd be like ripping a limb off almost, like there'd be blood pouring from the wound still. But in addition to that, almost like how in a lot of lore, unicorn's horn seems to be the source of its power. It seems that when he took that horn, the very essence of this creature, its soul, its magic capacity, it almost is like a huge portion got removed, and now it's almost like leaking out of the wound. And that's part of what's causing this creature the anguish that it's in. So that'd be kind of like the feelings you're getting. You have not quite been able to actually get like a sentence or an audible thing.
Did you get why he was trying to protect it?
Well, protect this leash.
Immense sense of loyalty. That would just be like the loyalty that someone would have to very much so a king that they respected, that they helped to ascend. Like, it is very apparent that Dagniel would die for his king, and like it would not even be a decision, and it would be like a I am happy to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking if feeling desires of the soul protect it, and if you could like pry into that potentially.
Maybe. But again,
potentially
it's taking
figure out why he's trying to protect it, what it does maybe.
With that being the case, you can still talk. I'm just having you kind of ongoing doing that. That was the whole point here. With that, going back to the matter at hand, to follow up with you, it says, it's a coronation, you could say?
For who? And for what?
Perhaps an acknowledgement is a better word. The current king's son is set to take her seat, sorry.
And we'd be welcome to go to this.
Of course. I can't see why not. Friends are always welcome at celebrations.
Okay. And what's the name of this soon-to-be royal prince?
King.
It would still be a king. Draconic edition doesn't exactly allow for what you would call a queen. A leader is a king. Doesn't matter who or what you are. You're simply a king. That said, Telemar is set to take our place alongside our king, assuming everything goes well.
Have I heard of that name?
Make a history check.
Alongside our king? So alongside Markal? Or like, wait, who's their actual king then?
Should have.
Markal, so that he is, as far as you can tell, his king.
And
Orlavel has not said who the king that he's referring to is. You don't know if it's the same person. All you know is that when you guys referred to a king, he asked for his name.
Yes. He did not know Markul's name.
And is that horn you collected a gift?
Of course.
14.
Unfortunately, you do not know that name.
Should have put proficiency in the history, apparently.
What was Dagneel protecting?
As he holds his hand out, a horn, a familiar horn, stained with blood at the base.
Girl, still it. No.
Does it do anything?
It's messed up.
But does it do anything?
All right.
No, I
Meteor
came to
storm.
collect it because I wanted a trophy. Puts it back.
I mean, if it's a gift for someone,
I already
maybe.
tied his shoelaces together and he still hasn't figured it out yet.
He looks down. Imagine that. As he is actually
he hasn't had to
reach
take a
down
step this whole
and
time.
I mean, he does float, so. So he reaches down and he relaces his shoes, or his sandals is actually what he'd be wearing.
Listen, it didn't look like a fair fight.
Oh, it wasn't. You're correct.
It felt like he needed some help, so I was hoping that you were gonna walk.
Well,
Walking's for peasants.
if you wish to come, you're more than welcome. Twilight is nearly over.
Can we
Dusk
lift?
does not like to be kept waiting.
It's kind of a ways out.
We still need to go help. What's his name? Daddy.
Savon.
Yeah, that's the one.
Unless
I thought you were talking about Dagniel. I thought you were calling him like Daddy Dragon or something. I was like,
Unless you know of a way out.
Imagine if you had a creature that swam through the stone, almost like a picture that swam through stone, and you could see it, and it looks like a picture, but it's in the stone, and you know it's not a picture. What would you do to make sure it didn't kill you?
swims through stone in a mountain.
Well, I guess it's
cave.
not swimming. It looks like it's just walking, but like it
Where
just
is
shows
it?
up.
What is it?
Inside of the
talking about the
crystal
bandstone.
vein.
Depends on if I was scared of it. I'm scared. If I was concerned.
We kind of are concerned. Apparently, he has the knowledge and power to
You said he's in the walls.
contain a time dragon, or at least help contain a time dragon. I guess he didn't do it himself, but he's helping contain a time dragon, which
He's
that
one
alone
of
are.
7 anchors.
Point is, he's not happy with this. Okay, this. There was a very unintelligent thing that happened from one of our smarter members.
I already asked for assistance and he said he cannot grant it.
I didn't say he has to do anything. I was just asking for advice on what he would do if there was a guy that was trying to kill him that swam through the stone.
I'm pretty sure.
Collapse the stone.
Yeah.
Blast the mountain.
That's not an
this
option.
man knows violence.
That's not an option.
It is for me, and you asked me what I would do.
That's not an option.
Well, how
Because
about
we
we
would
flip the
die.
script? If you were us, what would you do if this man in stone is hunting you?
You would kill him, obviously.
I would kill him. It's hard for me to think about. I can't imagine ever being in a situation like yours.
Also, Tiku, the last time we were in one of these, we required the residents' assistance.
Also, it's not like he's a bad guy. He was actually helping us all the way up until...
Required what kind of assistance?
Intelligent thing.
I
Well,
couldn't
I mean, I think
understand.
it was a fair
Intelligent
trade.
thing.
He took our intern. So, I mean, that should have been the end of it. But, man, he's got a grudge.
Yeah, but the only reason he took the intern was because he killed his girlfriend.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should have just stopped, right? I think that was a fair trade, but apparently he doesn't, and he's still coming after us.
Stone girlfriends to be discussed. I must leave.
About that lift.
I wonder if
Part
my...
of the celebration is the arrival. It would be improper for me to...
Okay, I'm looking. I'm gauging, like, how long it's going to take us to get there.
I blow my wyvern
Easily
whistle.
a day's travel.
Can you at least, like, drop us off halfway?
I could do it in half a day.
Not all of us move as fast as you.
Certainly. As he holds his hand up, so I'm gonna say he walks over to one of the trees. As he places his hand on it, almost like he's gripping into the wood. He's just kind of, and as he pulls, he seems almost like for a moment you think he's grabbing the wood and breaking it, but almost like similar to what he did in the sky. The very image of the tree seems to crack and and he seems to almost rip a hole in space. And through it, you can see an image of Lone Peak, much, much closer. He says, by your leave. That said, I have one other thing to take care of first. Good luck. At this moment,
Good luck to you.
At this moment, he would start to fly. Effectively, he would start to hover for just a moment, kind of like floating slow, and would fade from sight.
Did he smile when I said that it was a prison for the king, or also basically a prison to the multicolored? Which one did he react to?
You said king first, so it would have been
Guys,
king.
we really need to get back to our time. I am down to only 6 bottles of wine left.
Yeah, the other problem is the horned one crushed the cave entrance that was the way back.
We got the tree portal.
Typically, you can't leave through the way we came in. It tends to be there's some goal that has to be accomplished in these events, and that goal is clearly taking us over to that peak over there.
Correct.
I can do an Arcana check on what he did with the tree.
Go for it.
I think whichever way we would have gone in this, it would lead us to that spot.
By the way, since he forgot what I said, did he have the same reaction when Gurgle said it?
Like the interest in the prison?
Prison, and he specifically said the king.
He seemed very interested in it the whole time. If you didn't notice, when he talked about it and when you talked about it, he followed up questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very clear that he was very interested in with these crystal veins that you kept talking about. That he didn't seem to know about them, but he did seem interested in them.
Damn it.
All right, I'm gonna walk through the portal.
Okay, so real quick before you do, just in case Tiki wants to do
does
something.
Does he explode upon touching the portal?
So a couple things real quick. Would you? Sorry, one more time.
33.
Yeah. So he cast Gate. which also would make so you would know it's going to be open for a minute. It's a concentration for up to a minute. With that being the case, for you, Tiku, as you're continuing to delve through effectively almost trying to get the thoughts of this creature,
Connecting to him. That's really what I'm
connecting
trying
to Dagnell. As soon as Orlevel, especially as soon as he actually seems to disappear, his vigor seems to come back. Almost like a connection that was somehow tethering the two of them together and weakening him almost seems to break. He's able to pick up his head slightly. And again, it'd be very low as he's very clearly still very weakened. He's, you young kobold must save the dragons. He turns his head, looking towards where Orlevel had disappeared. He says, "Is misguided." He kind of like picks up. He takes his arm off the ground as much as he can, and brings it to his chest, and just kind of carves out his chest, and you can see what appears to be a glowing orb underneath the skin that is now deteriorated, giving the impression that this creature both gives you the sense of like this is like a construct mixed with a homunculi. Almost somehow they found a line in between where life and machine is.
Okay.
With that, as the orb actually is revealed would be the way to say it. Exposed. That would be another way to say it as well. The glow to it is a dim pink. And for those of you around, as you like start to look at the portal, and it's like, all right, it's time to go. You see Tiku's hat almost starts to glow a light pink. As he says, "Take it, shave dragons."
And what's going to happen to them? I don't know. What do you mean by save dragons? They're terrifying. And he grabs the arm.
I feel like when all this is going, Zephyr, low perception, doesn't realize it. It's like, this is fancy. Okay, all right, guys, let's go. Okay.
I am under him, and his chest is like probably.
They made it through, right?
I grab the two orbs and bring them close together.
As soon as you do, the pink orb from his chest, you like go to bring them next to each other, and it's more of like they seem to almost slot into each other somehow as it.
I think
it kind of glows that pinkish, slight pinkish hue.
I think we just gave
is added to it.
Orlevel.
Can I reach out to the remnants of his soul, if there's anything left?
This is going to be an additional survival check, and again is going to be extremely difficult.
Just do it.
Come on! I have to shake my ass because it has liquor and it all settles. Hold on.
You're playing with cheating dice?
But using another dice? Absolutely not.
Oh no.
Which is totally good.
I mean, it's got 20 on that side.
Does a 22 succeed?
The soul that is seemingly tethered to this, much like a construct, which would typically be soulless, doesn't seem properly contained, almost like it was put here, and it was not done exceedingly well.
Can I release it from the construct so that it can at least pass on? Like, separate it from the construct even though I can't grab it?
Yeah. So effectively, as it starts to dim and it starts to fade in the construct, almost like caged and trapped, effectively the cage that would keep that soul in the construct, technically it would have been the gem that you were holding. So you would have done this as you combined them.
Okay.
While not to the point that you're able to fully help it pass on, you are at least able to release the soul back into whatever this environment is. However souls seem to interact in this age, this time, whatever it is, may be free to pass on. Hopefully.
If he gets lost, I'm sure the Packer will find him. It's fine.
And like consoles herself.
Okay. So with that, so Kane, you being the first, why do I do that? Clay, you being the first one to actually enter through the portal, gate is not actually, it's not attached to another tree or anything like you've seen with what Kane does. This instead, you as you walk out, you're maybe only about a mile away from Lone Peak. Couple things that are notably different from how Lone Peak would look from where you in the time where you guys are originally from. Where the mountains that surround Lone Peak normally are is instead a massive, almost effective moat. It looks like, so you guys are about a mile out, about half a mile from you is where the ground seems to tip and go down. And from the angle you're at, while you can't see directly in front of you, you can still see along the edge. It seems like it would be more accurate to say like there's a canyon around Lone Peak, which also speaks even more to the size of Lone Peak when you take into account the below ground and how far deeply this mountain actually stretches. The canyon, even from the distance that you're at, as you look at the edges of it around it, is, again, at first it's almost like you can see like insects, maybe bats that are flying around in in that canyon. And you think about the size of the canyon and the distance, and again, we're talking thousands of dragons that fly about these canyon depths surrounding Lone Peak. It's clear to see in some cases those dragons seem to be fighting or at war. Sometimes they almost seem to be playing. Some are up top like perches that kind of jut out from the sides of the canyon. Effectively, it almost looks like it almost gives you the idea of like a civilization or a town, but of dragons that have instead made nests on the sides of cliffs and mountains. Very anti what is mostly known about dragons, being very territorial, not really working
like
together.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Sure. But
everything we know about them is wrong.
So you guys know of dragons in the present, and dragons in the present are territorial. They don't typically like to work together. In fact, like those of you that would be more familiar with history, such as Zephyr, would be familiar with the events of the Dawnbringers, who had fought and contended with ancient dragons that begrudgingly worked together, and only for a time. It was very, very short-lived how long those dragons worked together. So seeing, even with the infighting that seems to be happening amongst this canyon, it's still odd. There should be much more aggression. They shouldn't be working together like this. It's just very, again, doesn't seem right. With that, I assume everybody else is going through, or
I would want to talk to him before we actually went through.
Okay, so you can go ahead.
You only have a minute.
Come on, people. Go.
Razu.
Deku, stop staring at the sky.
I don't know why you did what you did. So I'd like to ask you now. Why is preventing Oliveira from learning that information important to you?
Because he doesn't quite exist here.
So then there should be no problem with him learning it.
Do you think he initially made the blueprint for it?
It's possible. I do not know Oliveira's past. You're saying that he would have learned it from you had you allowed that to exist?
No, but he'd get the idea, and then he'd learn it himself. But he seemed to got it anyway from the frog.
I just do not know why you went through such trouble to prevent him from learning it, is all.
Because it's one of our only cards on the table, and he seemed keen and intrigued. We may have lost that card already, but it's good to have cards in your hand.
I do not believe he is a being that we require cards against, but fair enough.
This might not be the person you know.
Maybe.
My father was once kind and loving and probably never hurt a soul when he was a child.
That was a pretty good analogy, actually. Okay, so with that,
Tiku's gonna slice off like a leg or a toe. I don't know how big this man is. So
again, he's like 40 feet long.
Yeah, like a foot. And bring the foot with me because I can't eat him all the way, but I at least can do or maybe like a shin chunk.
You make a survival check.
Just quickly before we run into the portal. She wants to honor
What's
him.
worth as you actually cut into him, despite that core and that almost like construct feeling there, the rest of him seems to be entirely entirely flesh creature.
29. It's all that's happening every whole night.
And that is where the large portion of Tiku's time went during that whole endeavor.
Tiku, let's go.
I'm gonna say you
I'm not
got
casting
enough.
the spell.
Are you just trying to do like one final meal, or are you trying to get like means for meals? Because if you're just trying to do so, the way that you would do this, by the way,
I think you typically try to take as much as you can.
Yeah, as much as I can.
Because that's part of like the whole thing is to consume as much like.
To utilize the gift of flesh.
roll me a d6.
Oh, I don't have my dice, my liquid core for my d6 out. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Okay, 5.
You got enough for five meals.
Just, as Tika just like runs through the gate with the piece, and I'm just like jumping in after her as it's about to close.
Okay, so as you guys finish up the conversation, Tiku collecting 5. Effectively, by the way, what do you think about when you actually get the grandeur of his size? It's like effectively like you took out his quad, or sorry, not his calf.
His calf.
It's
yeah.
like you made a meal, or you got enough for multiple meals out of his calf. With that being the case, as you all enter through the portal, you're all met with that same gaze of thousands of dragons amongst this canyon leading up to Lone Peak. Worth noting, first thing you notice, canyon surrounds Lone Peak. Mm-hmm. So the only way you would know of how to do it is to get to the bottom of the canyon and then scale Lone Peak.
Tiku, put away the meat. I don't want it attracting something.
As he says that,
how are we gonna not attract something here?
No, I mean like I don't want the smell
Tiku
of
shoves it
flesh
into the necklace.
attracting something.
Do we have an eel?
How do we
I hear
know
dragons don't like eels.
So Tiku had this idea. Wouldn't it be great if Tiku's hat
What if they hunt like
was like
eagles?
your necklace, and I could store the corpses? Like, there's so many times when I can't grab bodies because like it's such a waste.
What
Because
if
we
they
don't
hunt
have
like
time.
eagles? We're just humanoids, you know, just fly down, swoop one of us off the ground, eat us.
as you point that out, Gurgle, and you're kind of like paying attention as well. You notice
Tiku
that
crouches
they're
down.
all in the dragons are mainly in the canyons, but per the nature of it, and you had seen this before, there are still like dozens of
Please
dragons
don't.
flying throughout the sky, and you see that there's a single dragon that seems to have noticed you guys and is now flying towards you.
Oh shit!
There's one that's flying towards us.
Who is the biggest person in the party?
Hey,
Razu?
Boofman,
Tiku
his
goes and
friend.
stands behind Razu.
Runs over and stands like just.
And like tries to get smaller, but she realizes she's gotten a lot bigger, and then like trying to like tuck her wings. She's like,
Who's here good at being scary? Well, you're a dragon.
Can I roll an insight? Is it hostile? Is it going in for like prey?
Thaumaturgy.
Is it like a Labrador?
I do need it to be a preserving cat.
Would it be insight?
I assume it would be insight.
I'd say insight. Yeah.
Is he coming to make new friends?
oh, is Kane still a dragon? Well, I still don't want to be another dragon though. Dragons get mad
Kane
at
is not
dragons.
still a dragon.
13.
13. Hard to know. It's approaching fast though.
Kane, you're up. Scare it. Just make yourself look bigger.
I'm not standing directly behind Razu, but like putting Razu in the line of sight, like between us.
Okay.
Because I don't want, if it eats Razu, I want a second so I can like jump out of the way.
Just breathe in more air.
Puff up. They hate that.
Razu puffs up.
It's actually like a bird.
Is this a young dragon and an adult dragon, a
It
wormling?
starts to get closer. Its size gives off ancient.
Ancient.
As what appears to be an ancient black dragon is flying towards you.
A black.
It doesn't matter what color. I'm colorblind.
I don't think I can intimidate an ancient, but
What's at the bottom of the canyon?
check.
You don't know.
try.
Kiku look crawls over the edge.
What does Dragon Protocol?
Oh, it's
call
half
this
a mile.
situation?
Shit.
What's your plus?
What's Dragon etiquette?
Yeah. She wants to be back to her mini.
I will transform into a dragon as I say this. I'm going to basically roar.
Put on your charm.
I am going to roar, and then I'm going to basically say.
Wait. Let me finish.
As I roar, I
I want
will
to cast a
say.
spell on him first.
What spell?
Guidance for persuasion.
Or intimidation.
For intimidation. Guidance for intimidation.
I was going to guide myself, but fair enough.
Okay, you've been guidance.
As I roar, and I will basically just snarl.
We have permission here. By all of Ale, stand down.
Do go ahead and make an intimidation check.
What does
laugh when
Thaumaturgy
it's
do?
It's
gonna laugh
makes your
when this is
voice-
Orlavel's
He doesn't technically do anything other than make your voice boom.
Thaumaturgy? Oh yeah, it just makes your voice louder.
Your voice
25.
booms up to 3 times as loud as normal for 1 minute.
Fine.
Oh, sorry.
All I'm
you-
gonna say.
Actually, no. You have advantage on
That's all
charisma
I'm
intimidation
getting.
checks.
Oh,
It
you
actually
do.
says that.
I
do
already
have
have
advantage.
advantage,
Well,
so
you have advantage.
I got double advantage.
Well, if you impose disadvantage, you still get advantage.
Sorry, one more time. What'd you get?
25.
My image in my head. My image in my head is like a freaking a little cat looking at a tiger, being like,
Like can oftentimes happen in nature. You watch as the dragon that was gliding down directly towards
that.
you, as you call out, it kind of dips down a little bit, not coming directly for you anymore, but as it kind of, as you guys like would quite literally feel the earth shake as this massive dragon, for Tiku, is like 3 times the size of the green dragon you're used to.
Tiku's like the ground shakes and Tiku just keeps shaking.
Just hold out to Razu. Just vibrating his leg.
With that being the case, as he lands, and he still doesn't land terribly far from you guys. He's only like
Waist, yeah.
20 feet away.
Tell her no.
I
don't hold on to his legs anymore.
He did seem to be taking more of like a hostile or maybe overbearing style glide towards you. And is he kind of a little bit? He almost seems intrigued as his head kind of like ducks down and comes towards you. I do need each of you guys to make a charisma saving throw.
I'm really
Tiku is
that I don't have like
hiding.
advantage.
Is it a spell effect?
Funnily enough, I'm giving you advantage because of the
Pretending?
intimidation check you made.
Okay, we're all next to Clay.
Oh wait, they
I would
changed
be-
how this works.
Is that good thing
Is
or
it a
bad
spell
thing?
effect?
Sorry, 1 second.
It's Dragon Presence, so no.
It's called Frightful Presence, but
Yeah.
they changed it in the new rule set.
Yeah.
Weird.
And rather than being a charisma saving throw, it's considered the spell Fear, which is a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, hallelujah.
Weird.
Tiku is not charismatic.
It's also
at
now
all.
a cone, which you guys would be in the cone because he landed in front of you, but it's also now a cone.
What kind of?
That's weird.
And those
Because
are
Cone is
Based off
weird.
of fear, does that make it now
Oi.
considered a spell?
So,
This is
so it has to
important.
look at you.
It has to look at you, basically, yeah.
Hey, I got some
I don't know if I
important rule
like
thing
this.
here.
I was gonna say this is weird.
It makes it more intentional, right? Like,
I
they
have
look at
Aura
you
of
and try to
Courage.
keep Free.
No one can be frightened in the aura.
Yeah, while your guys are within 10 feet of me, you guys are also immune to the frightened condition.
Okay, great.
Oh, actually, then no one need to make a save. So I can determine whether or not I actually want to use this Frightful Present or the other thing another day. As it lands and its head comes down to you, I would say that for those of you those of you not Clay Beekman, you still have that, especially for you, Tiku, as you still have that unsettling feeling of dread, which normally would be paralyzing. With the help of Clay Beekman, I also want to think it's like liquid courage, and you just like give people brandy, and like that makes them immune to being frightened.
Everybody take a
Just everyone take a jog.
I feel like another iteration of this, which kind of just paints a funny picture in my head, is that we all are scared, and then for a moment we're like, oh, but we have Clay Beekman to save us.
Tiku,
so why are not afraid?
But do we have Clay Beekman?
He will stop the ancient dragon.
Talking about the drink.
We'll just offer
we got
him
Clay
wine.
Beekman with us.
Okay, so with that, as its head kind of comes in closer, that sense of dread that would normally be like paralyzing is still present, but instead of a sense of dread of paralyzing, it's the sense of like, this thing could probably kill us. Even as a group, we might struggle against this thing. Or in fact, we probably would, just given the size and stature of this dragon. The actual body of this black dragon is scarred to an extreme extent, to the point where like the underside of its neck, its belly, the only part where the scales aren't quite black, it's almost more of like almost like a gray hide on its underside, still scaled but different color, is effectively raked with like different scratches. There's some scales that are missing, and revealing the actual hide skin underneath it. This dragon has fought a lot, and you're able to tell immediately. Also, its tail is actually cut. There is instead almost just a bulb of flesh about a quarter of the way down its tail, to where it's still a very effectively a larger base, closer to the base. As it bringing its head closer to you, realizing that you guys can still function.
Kane, what do we do? Do not show it fear.
And at this point, it actually sees you, Tiku.
Nope, Tiku's
And
turning.
it's-
That was
As you turn sideways,
I
Tiku's
mind draws you.
this dragon, having like a 20-foot span of its neck, its head, and comes around. You almost feel like when a
like,
creature
slowly
encircles their
turns
child with their tail.
around.
Its head just kind of swirls around and says, "A small one." And as you watch its mouth, like almost you get the impression of like it starts to salivate as acid drips from its mouth, hitting the ground, and like the ground immediately just kind of
like drooling.
Yes, like drooling acid as its head.
Tiku's like,
continues to
oh,
circle.
great and mighty dragon.
We are.
I bring offerings, and she pulls out a whole cow.
She does that first thing, and then I sprinkle some
Tiku,
spices
you
on
put that in there.
Wait a second. She just pulled out a whole dang cow.
Go ahead and make a performance check, and you can finish what you were saying.
I was just saying, we are here under the rule of hospitality. Remember that.
Oh,
You want to give us a lift?
I'm a terrible at performance, but is it cooking or survival?
Performance. This is a performance. You're
Not
giving an
survival?
offering.
Tiku's like, this is literally my survival.
So -1.
18.
Still not bad though.
As its head continues to its head almost like circling with your like hiding, and you give up, and you I imagine you grab Zephyr, just pull him down, take out the necklace, prop for the cow, and it just kind of.
I use my prestidigitation or my cantrip of my control flames, and I roasted a little.
Sorry, I just had a great picture. She like pulls me down, and as she's like fumbling around, she's like, "I offer you this this offering." And she's got Zephyr. Like, no, you don't.
Zephyr like eyes go wide.
Its head comes in close enough to you that you can smell. Apologies. It comes in close enough that you can smell what is almost like a mixture of burnt wood and blood that freshly hangs on its breath. It kind of comes in within, I'd say, about like 5 feet of you. Its tongue comes out from its mouth, and this thing's tongue, think like a snake-like tongue, but rather than going down to just 2 points, it goes and then splits into three separate tongues that all kind of have like that serpent-like edge to it, and one of them just kind of wraps the cow as the other one almost caresses the side of your face, just leaving drool, which does kind of burn mixed with a little bit of the acid, not the point of damage. But as the dragon licks the side of Tiku's face and goes,
What do we owe?
Picks up its head.
To what do we owe the pleasure?
Not to go banquets. But lonely snacks for the banquet. Good luck. It just seems to take off.
Success!
Well, there goes our ride.
But wait, he didn't even take the cow.
No,
He did eat it. He ate it.
Oh, okay.
And he licked my face.
I think he likes you.
Yeah, they all like you. That's the problem.
You made a friend.
No.
Good job, Tiku.
No friends. Just survived. You don't make friends with dragons.
There's about another 1,000 of them we can make friends with.
I hope you have a lot of cows.
As that black dragon starts to fly away, you see what appears to be like a
Tiki just
young
realized
gold
how
dragon that
shiny
flies
she
up.
is. She's like, shit.
You see a young gold dragon that flies up, and so to you guys, it would roar to it. For those of you that can speak Draconic, would hear it call out, "You threaten a cat," and then it's immediately cut off as you just see just a wave of acid, and you watch as the gold dragon, from roaring at the black dragon to just a corpse.
Just like bones, like all the flesh is gone, everything just
As you
skeleton.
see the body of a young gold dragon that has just landed on the ground, which is met again which is now met by just almost like an ear-piercing roar from the black dragon, and almost like in response to this, what is a little bit odd to you, as you've heard the green dragon, and this dragon, the way it roars is almost more snake-like, as it's like, but to an extreme level, as again, this is like an ear-piercing sound as you guys hear this, and you see as like a dozen dragons turn and start to fly towards the dragon, and then you hear it call out in Draconic, "This is a celebration," as they just collide, and you hear like the sound or like the crack of the black dragon hitting what appears to be a large bronze dragon, just echoing across the plains. And that is where we are going to end for tonight, as we have people that have to get up early tomorrow.
Wrap closer around her.
Tiku, have snacks.
Tiku's like, hit the deck!
Tiki really misses being green. We used to be able to blend into the shrubbery.
We'll have to figure out what happens and what is going on with this coronation, this celebration. Not next week, because we will not be playing next week. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks to see what is happening here and what is this history with Orlevel. We love you, Jasmine. Thank you for always hanging out. Have a good week. Later.